Day 28. I suddenly feel like shit, and I realize it's probably because of the antibiotics plus me drinking the fruit juice probiotic. Sugar is not my friend, especially when I'm not eating properly. My fainting condition used to be a lot worse when I was a kid, and I've talked about it before here plenty of times, but my health is at a low because I just had surgery and I'm catching up with things, so it makes sense that my fainting condition might be more prominent right now. I'm looking at screens and that doesn't help. So I go to lay down and rest my eyes and think about sex for a bit, because of course I do, and half an hour later I feel much better and get up. I realize it's the last Monday in 2021. I didn't mention this before, but I realized that my camera has been recording the wrong time since I moved into CST from EST. It's been an hour off and some change. And I can't go back and fix it in previous vlogs, but I go back and fix it in the current one that I'm working on, which is, PinkBlue episode 27. My arm's been having a little pain in it the last hour or so, and I've been ignoring it, but I now realize I'm an hour and a half late taking my pain meds. Time is so fucky. I'm sorry, arm, my B. After my third PT of the day, my fingers feel stiff. I want to crack them. I try, but it doesn't work. I massage them instead. It's been a month since I cracked them. Makes sense they'd want some relief. This is a weird note, maybe, but I love how hairy my balls are. They didn't shave them, and it's kind of very nice for them to be naturally sitting where they are, furry, but not too furry. I take my little walk to the mailbox just in sweatpants and no shirt, as I have been. I don't want to put anything on my arm, Covering it up with a shirt would maybe not be good. I'm moving faster on the way back. I make my next meal. I rewash a comforter and some sheets. I edit. I'm so fucking happy. My arm is really hurting, so I take the bandage off. Nothing looks all that unusual. The little area where it had opened up has closed, and I hope it heals all right. I take an extra Advil. 3 in my system will hopefully make it feel better. I also have a headache that hasn't stopped. I should probably drink more water. That's always the problem. My arm really dang hurts. It feels tight and dry, which is how it looks. I take another Tylenol. It is so hard not to eat chocolate when you know you shouldn't, and also when you're in pain. I have a bite of some orange mochi I have instead, hoping it'll satisfy my sweet tooth a little. I got it about a month ago, and as I pick up the piece that has a little bite taken out of it, I realize I took that bite before I had a penis, before I'd gone through surgery, before a lot of things happened. Feels very good and nice to take another bite. It unfortunately doesn't satisfy me. I want chocolate. God damn, I want chocolate. I'll have some Ritz cracker instead. Shit. It's 5:30 a.m. I feel like I can barely keep my eyes open. I still have one more PT to go to make 5. Let's see if I can make it. I do PT 5 times. Hooray! I can go to sleep whenever. I didn't think there was any danger to me standing to pee while the fistulas are still there, but I just went to pee and my penis stream shot way up and to the left, which other people with penises told me would happen, but I couldn't back up or course correct because the fistulas were also having pee come through. I pushed my dick as low as it could go, but the stream was so strong, I still got some on the toilet edge and on the floor. Luckily, I was able to clean it. Okay, I get the mess at public toilets now, I understand. I wake up and go to the bathroom, sitting this time. I realize that I can't do this for the first pee of the day because me not being able to hear or see it is making my brain and my bladder confused. Stealth pee is not the way to go. I wake up later after going back to sleep and stand to pee, and I feel so much better. Once I think that I'm done peeing, I push myself more because it feels like I have to pee more, and I do need to pee more. I do this a third time. One of the major differences peeing now is that I really have to focus on getting it all out. It doesn't just happen on its own. My urethra is longer, so. When I pee, barely any leaks from the fistula, like dribbles. Fuck yeah. Keep peeling, buddy, you got this. Texas is apparently going to be in the 20s next week. Someone shares a list on Twitter of things we should stock up on, including firewood and water and flashlights, which sounds like a good idea. I've got candles and flashlights, but I should ask my friend to pick me up some water and firewood. I hope the flue is open in my fireplace. I can't remember if we left it open or shut, but a maintenance guy came over and helped us when I first moved in, and he showed us he did the flu. I forget what position he left it in though. Hopefully, if I need it, a YouTube search will give me the info I need. I should charge all my portable devices too, just in case, my portable chargers. My body tells me it's time to shit, and I'm still not used to my endometriosis being cured. I used to just not shit. I was always backed up. Like my body was just a fucking mess before transition. And my body is learning to love me in all new ways, and I'm so grateful for it. The more I get comfy in my new form, the healthier I become. It still finds ways to surprise me, like I'm rekindling an old flame, a relationship I've been in for a while, but we had no interest in each other before. It's really weird seeing this thing that you've had your whole life, and now you're starting to get to know each other. It's kind of like if you have a brother and you didn't get along as kids, and now you rekindle a friendship when you're older and later in life. I'm wearing some pouch underwear that I had pre-transition, and I'm only realizing right now how nice it is that I fill it out. It's got cute little roses on it. I ordered Chinese again. It's good to keep as much food here in the house as possible if I can manage it, with the temperatures about to get so low. Plus, I really don't feel up to cooking. The antibiotic is fucking with me. I decided not to do the audition I was planning on. It's due tomorrow, and the antibiotic combined with me wanting to heal is just not doing me any favors. When I hear the doorbell, I put on my robe to be safe, but they leave the food at the door, thank fuck. My fortune says you should do well at making money and holding on to it. Yeah, fuck you too, buddy. I'm trying. My hand is definitely less swollen today. Everything is so much more noticeably flexible. I'm doing things with my left hand just naturally without thinking. Okay, this is kind of a gross thing I'm about to talk about, but pooping with my dick in the toilet bowl is so gender euphoric. What the fuck? Editing footage of myself, I realized that I don't want to kill myself anymore, and that's pretty fucking neat. I was just reminded how miserable and emotional I was every day of my life pre-transition. How badly I just didn't want to be alive and didn't care what I looked like or what I did, and how I didn't think or care if I lived until I was 30. Someone used to have control over everything I did, everyone I interacted with, what I ate, where I went. I am free, and I've been free for years, and it's so nice to remember no matter what happens in my life, it's a million times better than how life used to be. I'm so happy I can do anything. My arm hurts, but pain meds aren't for 5 more hours. I take a Tylenol. Jesus, I am so horny. Testosterone pumping through me. I have no release. It's such a relief that I can crack my thumb and that my hand is less swollen. I get a bad itch down there. I try to trace where it is so I can scratch it. It's not my balls or dick, so I think it's near the fistula. I don't try to scratch it. I let it pass, but ugh, it sucks. I stand at the toilet after peeing and feel the itch again. Perfect timing. I could use the toilet paper to feel. I put it on my taint, and I realize the itch is inside me. It's from the fistula. So I need to let it heal. I can't itch where it wants me to. The fistula was just drips. Hell yeah. Day 29. I realize that I am nocturnal again. I take my allergy pill and apply cream so I can do my T-shot. My arm pain has increased, but the pain meds are 5 minutes away. I realize I'm a teensy bit sad, not depressed, just sad because I'm not able to eat chocolate, and I'm also not able to come. So both of these have compounded and made my brain feel like I should be sad without these sources of joy. I used to come almost every day. I used to eat chocolate almost every day. I love my penis, and I love the process of healing, but with the pads on my taint and all that, I'm still not able to live as I know I'll be able to once the fistula is gone. I realize I haven't taken an anxiety pill in a while. Might as well. Time to vibe. I also have a fun-sized Take 5. Jesse can have a little chocolate as a treat. He said just not to have an extreme amount. I want to stay upbeat, you know? I could have a little thing. I'm tired because I'm not having sugar or caffeine. Oh, I have some kettle corn. Kettle corn doesn't have chocolate. I am noticeably happier because of the pill. All right, that's why they prescribe it to you. This makes it much easier to get through this recovery. My arm hurts, but it doesn't super matter. You know, because of the pill. And I'm healing, or whatever. Everything's great. I need to make sure I'm not too careless with my arm because of it. I bumped it against something and I didn't feel pain until 5 seconds later. I am much more motivated to do things. My night is derailed in the best way because around 3 a.m. I get so tired I'm actually able to sleep. I think it's just going to be a nap. I go in and I don't wake up until 11 a.m. I haven't showered or changed my bandage and I only did PT 3 times, but I haven't slept that well in weeks. Sleep is really important. I should take an anxiety pill every day until I get my pain and my sleep under control. I get up and pee. The fistula just dribbles and then actually stops. Please keep healing. I take my pain meds 3 hours late. My arm pain isn't terrible considering. I go back to sleep. I get back up at 3 p.m. to take my antibiotic. I should shower. I can smell myself. 2 days of arm bandages and padding will do that. I know I need to be showering every day to help everything heal. My mom sends me this text, and it is very good. Everyone thinks my mom is the fucking best, which she is. After my shower, I know it'd be good for me to let everything air dry, so I walk around my house naked. I need to cook something, though, and I know skin-to-skin contact with my balls and penis should be avoided, so I take some gauze and paper tape and give my balls a little cozy to exist in. I'm learning things about myself because the slight pressure that seems to mimic someone gently squeezing my balls is making me aroused. With some people with penises I've been with, they like a gentle squeezing while you're doing something to their dick. Some of them even like me tugging on their balls, though that probably won't be my cup of tea. I just got them and I feared it'd make me think they're more fragile than they are. Anyway, I think this is the future of lingerie. Nothing covering your dick, just something covering your balls. This is, yeah, for sure. We're onto something here. The IV arm bruise has been so achy the last couple days. It's been very funny watching Daredevil during this because Matt is always recovering from some fight or another. I feel parallels, a kinship with this man trying to do good, get his body back into fighting shape. Day 30. I took an anxiety pill and it hasn't really affected me. My incision next to my dick hurts. Wish I had a better name for it, like a shorter name. I watch a friend's stream and they watch an entire video focused on ice cream and I can't hold back anymore. I get some ice cream. It's so good. Oh fuck. I can't come, but I could eat this ice cream. An hour and a half after my 4th PT of the day, I cracked my left ring finger just by muscle memory. I don't think I talked about this, but it only hurt like the first 2 times that I peed. They said pain is normal at first, so I thought it'd be more times. I did PT 5 times. The process of peeing and getting my pads back in place is becoming so quick, it's not really a bother anymore. Only thing that's a little annoying is how long it takes for all the pee to stop dribbling out of my dick, but I'm sure I'll get a better hang on it with time. I take a 4 a.m. walk to the mailbox. Putting on a hoodie, I can't see my arm scar. I feel like everything's normal. I move the fastest I ever have, basically moving like I did pre-transition. I get home and realize my arm and my hand are the most flexible they've been post-transition. I'm so happy. Hey, remember that sad thing I posted a month ago when I was waiting in the hotel for surgery and I kept seeing my little case next to me and it was the perfect shape and size of my cat, so I kept getting sad because I wasn't near my cat and I kept seeing it out of the corner of my eye and I thought it was my cat. That was real sad and funny. There she is. Yeah! You're here! You're here, baby! It's you! It is many times a day that I have to be like, please don't step on my penis. Please don't do it. It only has to happen once. It only has to happen once before I'm like, oh, this is a thing. This is a thing that people with penises have to deal with. It's just the cat just finding your dick and just dancing all over it. Don't like that. I have to lock her out of my room while I sleep because I don't trust her to not dance on my penis while I'm sleeping. And also, my arm is still healing. And she's been very upset about it. She's been waking me up every morning crying. She's a little baby and she loves her dad and she just wants to hang out all the time. But I can't trust you. I can't trust that I'm not going to wake up and you're just going to be fully laying on parts you're not supposed to. You're very cute. Look at you. Look how cute you are. I missed her. I missed her so much. I've just realized I have a small bruise on the underside of my arm between my wrist and my baby fanning goat tattoo. The dry flakes on my left arm that are completely healed and just vibing are appealing to the 8-year-old in me who would put Elmer's glue on his hands during art class just to let it dry and peel it off. I peel off a few, but if it gives me literally any pullback, I leave it alone. I'm not going to risk pulling anything off prematurely. The spot on my wrist with the scab that has half of it hanging off is still cooking something underneath. Can't wait until it's done. I try to cut away a piece of the scab that's hard. It looks like it needs to leave, otherwise it's going to hurt the whole thing a second time if I bump up against something and it catches onto it. And I try to cut it with scissors. It looks like it's good. It doesn't work. It looks like it's going to work. It doesn't work. Fine scissors aren't sharp enough. Okay. Not sure what to do about it. The stuff under the scab clearly needs more time. I can now see a little bit of blood. The best thing to do is leave it alone, but if I do leave it alone, it might cause more bad than good. I suppose the correct answer is the simplest. Leave it alone. If the sharp part catches on something and rips it off, that sucks, but we've done our best to protect it. Khaleesi cries to wake me up at 2 p.m. She must be able to sense that my left hand is barely swollen anymore and wants me to wake up and see. That was nice of her. The fistula barely drips when I go to pee after taking my pain meds, but it could just be because I'm waking up my bladder. I have to stand there and consciously focus on peeing. Major difference between peeing now and before, like I said. I eventually get it all out through concentration and touching my bladder and visualizing. I got another hour until my antibiotic, so I go back to sleep for a bit, happy about my hand. I haven't been elevating it, so that's all been PT. I remember that in my dream, I asked if we could get someone to do the PT massage on my hand to help it. This is the first morning that I woke up and my arm and hand weren't in pain. I still feel them, but something's different. Not a pain as much as it is a feeling that it's healed enough that I can deal with it. When I push myself up from my bed using my right arm as I have been, I realize that it hurts even more, and I look down to see that the IV bruise has evolved even further. It now covers a decent amount of my arm. I make some pizza bites in my new air fryer, doing the classic dipshit move of taking a bite, dripping very hot pizza bite innards onto my bare chest. It leaves a little mark, but it wasn't as hot as it could have been, and after I wipe it off and cool it down with a wet paper towel, I go back to bed. All the little things that I'm doing just out of muscle memory with my left arm in tandem with my right arm make me so happy. I've made such progress that I'm just kind of operating like both my arms are functional. I'm encouraged. I can't wait to do more PT after I'm done laying down. I was horny this morning, and I'm sure I'll be more horny once I don't have pads squeezing on my balls in my underwear. They're not squeezing in the pleasant, hot way. My friend gets me groceries, and I feel guilty that I'm having someone do me a favor. This specific trauma can rear its head at any moment, even when you've healed a ton from it. And luckily, I'm a much stronger and more capable person now because I've processed enough of it. I know how to stop it almost immediately. Just be like, hey, it's okay. They want to help you. Let them help you. Thank them and tell them you appreciate them, but don't feel guilty. You're already doing it, you know. They're doing the thing. You shouldn't feel bad while doing it. It's happening. The brain fog causes me to forget the PIN for my credit card, but I remember that it's just one number off from the code my girlfriend uses to get into her house, so I give her a call. I think I'm able to nail it down, but the brain fog is pretty high. We reminisce about New Year's last year, and she asks if I'm hanging out with anyone or anything. We remember how last year we had a cuddle party with some other polyamorous buds at her house, and she played piano, and then her and I fucked on the floor, and later I asked her to be my girlfriend. Very romantic, very on brand. to fuck a girl on the floor and then ask her to, if maybe we should turn this into a relationship. I'm a regular Casanova. I decided that I should pee before my friend gets back with my groceries, and when I go, a little bit of cum comes out after I finish. Very exciting, so much so that I almost don't realize there's something in the tip of my penis. Looking closer, I can see it's a bit of suture that has come undone. I remember that he said I could cut it with fine scissors if that were to happen. And I prepared to do surgery on my dick, very nervously, very carefully. A success! I look down to see that my balls also have the same situation, or they will soon after some of the suture shakes loose. I decided to wait until it comes off on its own and I have to cut it. It's the case for any of this stuff. I don't want to touch it unless I have to. My friend can't find firewood, so I order some online. I'm so used to Connecticut, just walking in and seeing it in the front of the store. I remember I cut sutures out of the head of my dick and feel like the biggest badass on the planet. Hey, guess what? I order Chinese again and get annoyed that the guy knocks and waits for me to pick it up. But you know what? He doesn't say one word and hustles away as fast as possible, so at least he's not sticking around or getting in my face. Maybe he's scared of getting sick too. Maybe he's terrified. Maybe he has to do these deliveries because it's a pandemic and he has to make money, and I'm sure he has a whole backstory that I'm not considering. What if he has kids? A girlfriend? A boyfriend? Question mark? An elderly grandma who doesn't believe in the virus, but he doesn't want to get her sick, so he's still anxious about it? I can't be mad. I've been talking about the dang arm bruise for long enough that I should just give you an update on both of my arms. I didn't think this through. The light? Yes. Okay. Here's my bruise. You can see it starts here. This is from the IV, the first IV they put in. Because I've never, like, cried from an IV, but look how the bruise goes all the way around, and now I'm seeing that I was justified in me just breaking out sobbing. Because it was like, I was in the worst pain of my life. This is when we had gone to the ER at, like, I think it was like 4 a.m. or something like that to get my suprapubic catheter taken out. And I thought it was just me being in the worst pain of my life, where this guy was just shoving this IV in slowly but surely. Like, he was doing his best, but it hurt more than any IV in my entire life. And I just broke out sobbing because it was hurting and it wasn't stopping hurting. And my suprapubic catheter was hurting and everything just hurt. And I just started crying, like, so hard. And now I'm realizing, oh yeah, that was a really bad IV. Like, I don't think it was his fault because, he was really nice. And, like, I had trouble with getting IVs in me at the last 2 surgeries. So I assume it was just something about my veins. But I've never had a bruise. I've never bruised this bad from an IV, and I've also never bruised all the way around my arm. It started right, where was it? Wherever the IV went in, it was like here, and then this part of the bruise was just brown, and then it started turning green. So this is a whole fucking thing. And I'm sorry if this is not your cup of tea to see. You can just skip over this part if you don't want to see arms. But now I can't show you my right arm without showing you my left, because that's the one we're keeping an eye on. So this feels and looks great. I'm not sure if the camera is doing the correct job of showing you accurately what color everything is, but it's basically the same color as my arm. There's just some bits that are like a little redder than others, and I think that's just what we're doing Healy-wise right now. Heelys. Remember them? That you were a real cool kid if you had Heelys. This is the little spot where it broke open and then it closed again, and I think that's going to be fine. Right here, up here, you can see that knotty, Knotty, bruise, is where there was what's it called? A tail hanging off of it, because it had healed around my wrist and then broken. It was fine, like healed off my wrist. Then this part was still healing, and I kept knocking it against things and it would hurt. So I tried 3 different pairs of scissors over a series of days, and finally the last one did it. I just used kitchen scissors. I was trying to be hygienic and use the teeny tiny scissors, and then I used the black ones that they gave us to cut, I assume, gauze and stuff like that. But yeah, eventually kitchen scissors is what did it. It needed something hard, because it was a hard, what's it called, scab? I don't know. But yeah, right now we're in the molting phase. This is just dry skin. I talk in the updates about how it reminds me of just like Elmer's glue, that it's totally cool. It's just kind of peeling off. And now today, it has started doing that Elmer's glue effect right down here. You see, I can't point anywhere, which sucks, but below the skin graft, where it goes up to the healthy part of my arm. Well, not healthy, I guess, just different. I don't want to use the wrong words. Anyway, it's doing that peely thing there. So I think it's just that my skin needs lotion and I'm not able to provide it. It needs moisture. The incision part, looking fucking dope. It looks worse on the camera than it actually is. And I wonder if that's like, yeah, I don't know. If you see it in real life, I barely notice it. Barely hurts. It's mainly just the tightness of the skin graft that distracts me. And it's not even that bad. It just kind of feels like the way that other trans dudes described it, I thought it was going to be worse. But it's, you know, they didn't do anything to embellish it or anything. They just described it as like a tight, like something tight, like a tight sleeve is around you. And it's honestly, I don't notice it most of the time. Once this heals, I think I'm just not going to notice it. Like, it's not that much pressure at all. So yeah, glad things are going better than I thought. And I prepared for the worst. So it's good that it's not. Yeah, everything is healing up, washing it every day. That's all to report right now.
Day 31. I forget to write down what time I took my pain pills, so I don't know when to take them next. I had to work backwards and guesstimate. I love being on pills. Love how good I am at remembering things. I'm focusing on drinking as much as possible. I'm healing well, and I just got to keep it up. The little tail scab that's been hanging on is really starting to make me nervous, you know, because it's gonna launch. It's gonna launch me into fucking space. It's gonna latch. Is what I was trying to say. Let's read words. I'm afraid it's gonna latch onto something and pull it. So I try one final pair of scissors to get off the tail part. So this is the third pair of scissors that I'm trying, and kitchen scissors do the trick. Thank fuck. I guess they're the, you know, the strongest, the toughest scissors. They gotta be doing kitchen stuff. So that makes sense. I did PT 4 times before hitting the hay. I am so tired. I wake up and I've actually slept pretty damn well. I think it's because I've been taking an anxiety pill every day. I've learned how to sleep properly with my new package by muscle memory, moving a pillow to rest under my knees as I turn to each side. It takes me a while for my bladder to wake up in the morning and pee, and usually takes a full 5 minutes of coaxing the urine out in minute-long streams. I wonder if it'll always take this long to pee in the morning, or if it's just my body getting used to not having a catheter. I can feel it getting colder in Texas. I had to turn up the heat last night, and I figured I wouldn't need to turn it up anymore because I was about to go to bed, but I was cold. My arm hurts this morning, but it's different. I don't know how to explain it. It's doable. The tightness in my arm is just something I'm getting used to. I don't think it's going to be this way forever. I think it's just me getting used to it. I flex my hand, and I can tell it's getting better. I've woken up with pretty perfect timing today for meds. I'm only half an hour late on my pain meds and half an hour early for my antibiotic. I go back to sleep for 3 more hours. It's real nice, and I need the rest, but I have nightmares because I'm too hot. I always have nightmares when it's too warm or if I have too many blankets. The last one I have is a sexy dream where I'm aware of my surgery in it and I'm jerking off and trying to come while having sex with someone. These dreams were common pre-surgery, and I would just wake up and jerk off afterwards. I don't feel blue-balled or anything, it's just interesting. I was a little worried because I was jerking my dick in the dream, and I was remembering that it's not fully healed yet, but I woke up and my pants were still on, and I had to make myself realize that it was in the dream. I wasn't doing it in real life. I take a Tylenol. I open a very difficult nacho cheese jar on my own. No pain from my arm. Wow. I love my balls. My ball sack fucking rules. It's so nice. Like, I didn't think I'd love my balls so much. The penis was the main course, I thought. You know, spaghetti and meatballs. Spaghetti comes first. That's what you're focusing on. But I have to remember that I care about the meatballs in spaghetti and meatballs. So, yeah, Mario and Luigi, everyone's caring about Mario, but Luigi gets his own mansion to explore. Well, that doesn't really go well for him, I guess. He's trying to find ghosties and shit. But you get what I mean. They're both important. The balls, I guess, were like an underappreciated afterthought. Like, yeah, I should have those because I'm getting a penis, so I guess I'll have the balls. but damn, they've proven to be great, and I underestimated the fuck out of them. It feels nice to touch, and having a little pressure around them that makes me hard. Like, they look great, too. Milking my hand. Ugh, I'm not going to say that. Massaging my hand for PT. It feels like I have more feeling in it. I don't know if it's a result of healing naturally or the PT or both. Day 32. Dysphoria got bad for like 5 minutes today, but I was able to squash it pretty quick. You're in your dream body, bro. Life is so good. I keep getting nervous I'm not going to be able to come. Think of disaster brain shit. I forgot that worst case I'll be able to come. Like, that's not even a concern. It'd be rare if I wasn't able to come. My T-dick is still in there, and I could orgasm before surgery. So, worst case, there's ways to make it happen, and I'm satisfied with that. It can only go up from here. I touch my dick for a bit, feeling a connection. Don't know if I don't know if edging will help, but it can't hurt. Showering is fun. I can tell the healing process on my arm by how easily I can wash my armpits with each hand. My left wrist was too stiff in the beginning. I had to wash both of my armpits with my right hand. Then I was able to lather with both hands and wash my pits with my right hand, and now I can do both. Nowadays, I'm doing most things like nothing's wrong. When I go to wash my taint, I can actually feel that it's more closed. Fuck yeah. The stream when I pee from it is getting smaller, but I didn't want to assume. I dry off, and my pubes are overgrowing in the spot at my ballsack's base, but I'm too nervous to shave. I try a little, but chicken out. I hope it can dry properly with all the hair there. I already have my trimmer in my hand, and my beard's looking shaggy, so I clean it up. I trim it down, shave my neck. It's amazing, because I used to be so precious about it, and it looks so good, and I feel so masculine. Sometimes less is more. I used to feel like I needed to have the most facial hair to be the most masculine, but then I thought of guys I was hooking up with and their faces, and when they had less facial hair, their chin looked sharper sometimes. So I tried it with my own, and yep, my chin is even sharper with less hair covering it. I really like it. I can't tell if I'm imagining it or not, but the swelling on the top to the right of my dick, where the incision is, seems to have gone down. So for that spot specifically, while editing footage, I got to a part where I read post-op instructions, and it says not to put Neosporin on it. I'd been putting CBD salve on it, but had stopped a little bit ago. If you remember, it had bled a little, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't because of that. It's interesting, editing while taking notes and while also living it. So I'm basically in 3 different parts of my life at any given time. Because if I'm editing something, it was recorded in the past. If I'm writing down things, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot. It's cool, and it's fun to be here and look back on editing stuff and have it educate me on what I'm going through right now. Because I had totally forgotten what that fucking sheet had said. I pee, give myself plenty of time to stop dripping. Then I'm trying to put Curology on my face and get annoyed that my dick keeps dripping pee. Catching it in tissue, I see that it's pee mixed with cum. I'm not annoyed anymore. I'm happy to come. You can do whatever you want, alright? You can feel free. My arm and taint hurt a bit. I take an extra Advil and my anxiety pill. I've been sleeping great since starting it. Might ask my doctor to get on it. I did PT 5 times. I peel what molting I can from my arm, and I'm careful not to touch anything that gives even a bit of pushback. A decent amount of scabless skin now is on my arm. Hell yeah. I go to take a little nap, and then I wake up, and I have a phone call, and can't get back to sleep. My incision hurts on my right side, and I realize maybe it hurts because when I'm touching my dick, I'm thrusting a little, and over time I'm sure that'll hurt because I'm not supposed to be doing anything physical. How's my body supposed to be able to tell between that and me working out, for example? I'm still so tired, and I know once I get up and start writing my show again, like I was last night, I won't be depressed anymore. But sometimes getting there is tough. Khaleesi comes in to snuggle because I've left the door ajar, and eventually I get too nervous and I make her go away. I wonder if the spray from the taint pee is new because it's closing, and so the flow is bouncing off of different things. Feeling exhausted thinking of my schedule of pills and protein/probiotic drink. I don't want to be on such a rigid schedule anymore. Oh, of course I'm feeling depressed. My last CPRO is today. After, I can take vitamins whenever, doesn't have to be within 6 hours because of the no zinc rule. You know, this CPRO is just really fucking with me. I feel a lot better knowing that it's my last day with it. I'm cold, but I don't want to cover my arm. I want to let it breathe. I put on a nice soft button-down shirt that's short-sleeved. I usually want to save something like this for going out, but then I realize I've never actually worn this shirt. I've been saving it for a special occasion. It's the end of the world. Wear it now. I've been increasing PT reps as I've gotten stronger. I do 12 instead of 10 for most of them. Elbow flexion extension, did 15 and then started to do 20. I feel pain that I think is my taint. I take a nap, and when I wake up, I realize that my balls ache. I have the pad stuffed in them like the doctor taught me, so, that makes sense. It's pushing against them. My arm also hurts. Pain meds are in 8 minutes, perfect timing. I realize my incision next to my balls hurts, the one I assume is from the vaginectomy. Pain pills should kick in soon.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
It's 2022!
Now, our message from Bilson.
Day 33. I feel sick from chugging my probiotic protein drink. I legit feel like I'm gonna throw up. I added oat milk this time instead of whole milk, and I thought it would be easier on my stomach, but I think the juice is just really harsh on me because of my fainting condition. I remember that I have anti-nausea medication left from surgery and go to take one, but on the bottle it says it might cause constipation and headaches. I decided to just go lay down to try to let it pass on its own. I don't want to go backwards in the process of getting my bowels back up to speed, and a headache sounds awful right now. I let it pass and I feel better 20 minutes later. It's proving difficult to be patient with my arm scabs. I'm gently helping along the ones that are almost done and are loose. We're almost free of all the edges. The line in the middle that's stitched up seems like it'll be a bit. I want to itch my arm, so I ball up a tissue and gently rub it. I just want to put the sick of care sheets on for a month already. Show them who's boss. Waiting is my weakness. I want to do something proactive. I peed and none of it came out the fistula, but it dripped all down my leg. Interesting. Must be closing and the root changed. My arm's soreness is annoying. I take a Tylenol. I make some chicken broth. Good for a tummy that's been upset. I finished the last of the antibiotics yesterday. Not being able to feel more of my dick has given me dysphoria that I haven't been able to shake, which is completely expected. I'm not supposed to feel it yet. 4 months is when most people report it. I'm already getting connection vibes and horny shit going on. I'm definitely going to be able to feel something eventually. I'll be able to come. Everything will be fine. I shower, a therapeutic part of my day. I wash my arm, my dick, my balls, my taint, which feels like it's getting more closed up. I do my face routine and feel extremely handsome and masculine. The thing about physical transition is one thing will fuel everything else. Trimming my beard was a good move. I can see my hair is getting fluffy on top, and I love it. Of my head, not my beard. I remember there was a time I needed my hair cut in a fade at all times to feel masculine. Now I love whatever my hair is doing. Only need it touched up on the sides when it gets real out of control. I quite like the scruffy texture it gives when it's longer on top. Especially, I get to style it with paste. A porn bot follows me on Twitter, and looking on their page, the porn they're posting gets me hard. The internet is wild. I figure I might as well do some connection bonding. I watch some, rub my dick near the base, get harder. It starts getting more intense. I feel like I could come if I do figure out how this all works. I stop and interrupt the flow to get more comfortable like I used to. Touching my balls is arousing. I figured it would be when I needed to wrap them, but I don't want to mess with them too much. The stitches are still in them, but it's very hot how my dick flops on top of them. It feels and looks hot. I start rubbing the top gently while watching porn, but I don't want to be too rough. There's still stitches in my dick, and the suture line from the vaginectomy has been hurting today. I'm too impatient. Then I realize something. I start pumping my dick at the base, realize my T-dick is in there, and then I'm like, oh, if I can learn to pump it, I could come from it. I can't right now, I need to heal it more, but in the future, I definitely could. Now I'm feeling good. I'm confident I'll be able to come in the future. I stop satisfied. Judging by the motion, I might be able to come while fucking someone. I used to be able to with, the T-dick with the extender plus the bumper, but I stopped being able to come that way once hormones stabilized and I wasn't crazy horny all the time. I just need time and patience now. I'm back to my confident self. I investigate just what parts are hurting, and I was right when I thought my incision hurt, but it's also the right side of my dick stitches. Everything's waking up. I set up firewood and my log mover I ordered. It's funny because the log mover is essentially a grabber, which, I start trying it out and see if it could have been useful for recovery. I use it to grab my shirt off the floor and move garbage. I could use this now, but it weighs a teensy bit too much for comfort. I put bacitracin on a few spots on my arm where I helped scabs come off and it seemed a little underbaked. I Google if scabs will eventually fall off, and the internet says yes. It sometimes just takes weeks. Which, yeah, it's been many. Just gotta be patient. I want to help in any way I can, and that's the hardest part of this. I can't do anything to help. Don't touch scabs, don't masturbate, just chill, write, eat pizza bites from the air fryer. I can do that. I'm in some annoying pain tonight, and that's okay. I'm so grateful to be where I'm at right now. When I peed just now, the fistula pee came through in drips, none of which dripped down my leg. It's closing. We're doing it. I start taking my veggie/fruit vitamins that I usually have in my protein shakes, the ones I had to stop taking 2 weeks before surgery. I don't know why I didn't think of starting them back up again. They sit next to my protein powder shelving, and I was like, oh, right, I should probably start using those again. Jesse can have a little chocolate ice cream, okay? As a treat. We must allow ourselves some joy, just not extreme quantities. Hovering in the kitchen, measuring ice cream by the spoonful, it's hard not to feel like a husband who's volunteered to do the same diet as his wife in a 90s sitcom, fearful that she'll come in at any moment and catch me in the act. Those were great, huh? Those have aged fine. Thinking about this makes me realize I turned 30 this year and I'm not married. I don't even have a serious girlfriend. Both my partners are married and off having their own lives. Should I start looking for a girlfriend? Settle down? What about a boyfriend? I always saw myself with a woman, but cis women have betrayed my trust way too much in the past and have never turned out to be good people. Is that just me or the trauma talking? I'm sure there are decent women out there who can be woke without being turfy. Yeah, they have to exist. I just haven't met her yet. Think about your friends, not girls you've slept with. Yeah, okay, for sure. A lot of them advocate for trans rights without me having to say anything. A lot of them stick up for black and brown people without it benefiting them. All of them, I think. They're good people. You had a lot of bad experiences, but there are decent cis women out there who don't make you feel uncomfortable. They speak up. Wow, I'm going on a tangent. What time is it? 8:30 in the morning? Yeah, that's why. I'm not tired enough to sleep, and I'm also in pain. I should take a Tylenol. I've done PT 4 times, but my arm hurts too much to do a 5th, so we'll call it for tonight. Or this morning, I guess. Am I lonely? Is that what's happening? Nah, that can't be it. I only stay in my house and don't interact with people. What a weird feeling. My hormones have stabilized, and now I'm at a level of comfortability with my tea where I'm able to cry at movies again. I still don't cry for myself, though. I have interest in romantic attraction again, but in a healthy way this time. I don't want codependency. Wait, should I even be talking about this here? Is it relevant? Yeah, it's relevant, Jesse. This is directly related to your T levels. Right. Yeah, okay. Oh, I don't live in Philly anymore. My girlfriend isn't right down the street. We were both busy a lot, but just knowing I could see her whenever I wanted was nice. And now I'm here, and my boyfriend is in Tennessee, and my girlfriend is in Philly, and I'm here. They've got their wives and they're also dating people locally, and I'm here working on my scripts and wondering why there's a deep pit in my stomach like something's missing. I think I crave companionship. I thought hanging out with friends would do it, but the feeling is still there. That's fascinating. Any other time this feeling is cropped up, I've just ignored it until it's gone away. And I suppose I'll do that again. Because here's the thing, I'm in a very specific circumstance. I'm polyamorous, I'm autistic, I've been through an extreme amount of trauma, and I'm living with PTSD that I can't quite work through because the thing that fucked me up, all my friends turning out to be monsters, actually keeps happening. So why should I say, don't worry, it's just trauma, it won't happen again, when that's actually a lie because I work in the entertainment industry and it will continue to happen. And I can't actually trust anyone, so I shouldn't lie to myself just to make my feelies better. Anyway, I was continuing the list. I need a lot of time to myself. I want a girl who's a feminist, an actual feminist, one who's not just down with trans people, but like one who actively fights for them and is passionate about it, who exists on her own, who has her own friends and won't develop a codependency with me, who's also local because we're in the middle of a global pandemic and flying back and forth doesn't seem the most practical right now, who will be okay that I'm so chill and won't misinterpret it as me not caring. I'm supposed to find a girl who fits perfectly with all of that and that I'm attracted to? Yeah, maybe I'll get married when I'm like 50. God, do I want to get married? We haven't thought about that in a while. It's almost 9 a.m. Should we sleep? We didn't take an anxiety pill. Will we be able to sleep soundly? I'll be fine on my own, ultimately. Let's be honest with ourselves. You know, let's go full complimentary mode. Let's suck our dick as much as possible. I'm extremely chill. I'm confident. I'm handsome. I'm good in bed. Working out is my main vice. I'm funny and successful and very communicative and honest. But, but, everything comes with a price. And mine is that I am polyamorous and on the spectrum. I'm a himbo and I act it quite often. That's part of my charm, though, I think. I'm not concerned with finding someone who's into me. I'm concerned with finding a very specific puzzle piece that fits with my very specific puzzle piece. And that it just might not happen. Wow, I haven't thought about having a serious partner in 3 years, and now the thoughts are just all spilling out. I didn't know I felt this way. Back in the stage 1 vlog, I talked about how sometimes you just need to talk it out, not even with a person or anything. Just to a camera or a notepad or wherever, which is what I'm doing now. I wrote this in a notepad, and in the future Jesse will read this aloud, and I wonder what he'll think of me. I'm going to bed. I go to pee before I retire, and I forget that there is a tissue that I put on the tip of my dick's head to stop the last bits of pee. I take it off, and it's sticky with cum. Wow, very cool. I pee, and afterwards, a lot of cum mixed with pee comes out. It keeps coming out. That feels very cool. You know, I was a little nervous about sounding like a jackass talking so honestly about relationship stuff before, but now I'm realizing that anyone who watches this definitely doesn't want to date me anyway, so it's totally fine. I talk about how much cum I'm producing. If you heard about my cum... I wake up at 3 p.m. and go to pee, and finally know how to communicate how I feel about my balls. I thought they were going to be purely cosmetic, so it's very cool that they actually feel like balls feel. Barely any pee comes out of the fistula, and it's only dripping. I wonder if it's because it's the first pee of the day. Indeed, everything starts to be working correctly. My dick doesn't leak pee for a ridiculous amount of time. This might just be a lucky go of it, though. My bladder might not have woken up completely. I'm so fortunate with my work situation, but I realized just how perfect a time it was for me to get this surgery. I only got my surgery date on November 29th because there was a cancellation, and because I got it then, all of December was spent in recovery, and now we're in the new year. December was a time I wouldn't have been much help anyway, since we were busy with December and I don't edit any of those videos. January is basically a dead zone for YouTube. Due to the pandemic, I didn't want to fly out to spend Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's with people anyway. These are the hardest 2 months of the recovery, and I didn't realize how good it would be to do it during these months. It was absolutely perfect timing. Sometimes the universe seems to be really looking out for me, and I greatly appreciate it. Maybe it's because I had a not so great time for so long. Huh. It's my anniversary with both my partners, so I shoot them a text. It's officially been a year since I got my head out of my ass and allowed myself to have partners, even though we're not primaries or living near each other. If I'm in love with someone, I'm in love with them. Romantic love makes me uncomfortable. It is vulnerable, and it's often selfish. Saying that out loud made me realize, but I probably also just don't want to be controlled again. The trauma of abuse has made me turtle up when it comes to relationships. My partners don't make me feel that way. They're busy with their own lives, with their own wives in their own states, and they're also dating other people too. Like I said, it never made me feel small or like I owe them anything. And for that, I was able to develop feelings for them organically, and then get mad that I had feelings for them. I've been seeing both of them for a while, my boyfriend especially, before I admitted to myself that this was something that wasn't going to go away. Both of them have feelings for me, but I know that I'm somewhere on the aromantic scale, and I didn't want to pressure me. I asked both of them if they'd like to be my partner on the same day, New Year's Day. My friend who lives close to me tweets about the Arctic front happening tonight, and that he hopes his apartment doesn't flood again. Oh boy, it's tonight, I guess. I go lay back down and get very horny. Rub that dick again, thinking about hot stuff. I stay hard for a while. Thrusting is hurting my incisions, so I try to use a vibrator on the base of the dick, but it just doesn't feel good. Like, vibrators never felt good to me at any point in my life. It's too intense. It's okay, I'll just edge until I don't feel like it anymore. This lasts for a while. It's very nice. I'm just getting used to having a dick is super hot and it just keeps me hard. I'm becoming more happy and confident in my ability to orgasm, even during sex with another person. It's the first day of the new year. First day not on CPRO. Wonder how I'll feel. I get up to start my day at 5:30 p.m. I go to pee. Pee wants to come from the fistula in droplets and go down my leg. I wipe it and lean so that it doesn't go on my leg and instead goes in the toilet. A small amount of blood drips from it into the toilet. A lot of cum comes out of my dick. I'm feeling very good. I've started to use the CBD lotion on my leg. I use Eucerin on it first thing in the morning, and then after my shower, I'll use the CBD lotion. I figure both of them together is a good combo. I'm so grateful to be cured of my endometriosis. I'm pooping regularly, and it's been so lovely and good, I forgot that I've only been cured for roughly 5 months total now. I'm sure all the vitamins I'm taking are helping as well. Is this what a healthy body is supposed to act like? I guess I've never had one. Everything was so normalized for me. I thought you were just supposed to have a really super unhealthy body and just feel like shit every day. What do you mean everyone's life isn't like this? The wind's been going crazy since I woke up this morning. I'm only in my underwear, so I'll put on some sweatpants. I've never had to prepare for an Arctic front in the south before. Last year, my friends down here had one, and it was really intense. It's a whole thing where the infrastructure here isn't prepared for it, so there were like ceilings coming down on people and pipes getting fucked up, and some people died in cars trying to keep warm. Our governor sucks, I think. It's something to do with the power grid and controlling it. I'm not knowledgeable enough to talk about it, so... I set all my faucets to gently drip so the pipes don't freeze. I make sure the candles and lighter are out. I know where my 2 flashlights are, one magnetic stuck to the fridge. The other I take out of the closet and put on the table. I know where my water jugs are that my friend picked up, and my portable chargers are all charged up. I keep my phone charging at all times. I put the short sleeve button up on from last night as well. If I'm still cold, I can put on socks. I want to avoid covering my arm. There's a little spot on my wrist that's very sensitive and needs to heal, although it looks pretty fine cosmetically. I call it my spicy spot, and I'd love if it would heal so I can stop bumping it accidentally. I have the instinct to go for a walk to check my mail, but I cannot. Don't go outside, Jesse. It's very cold. At 8 p.m., I can really just hear the wind shaking the trees. Only drips are coming out of the fistula when I pee. Holy shit. It's not the first pee of the day, so I can't give it credit for that. Keep closing, baby. We're almost there. That's so encouraging. I've been trying to reuse ABD pads as much as possible so I don't run out. And I go to reuse the one I'm currently on and realized, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, but this might be over somewhat soon. So I should be healthy and can change them when they need to be changed. Also, I take these notes through voice sometimes, and on a few occasions, my phone has thought I said CBD and not ABD. So hopefully, I caught all of the instances and corrected them. But just in case I said CBD pads at some point, that's not what I meant. Just want to make sure that you don't think there's cannabis in the pads. They're not. They don't get me high. Wouldn't that be wild to get a CBD pad that you just put on your genitals and you just absorb THC or CBD through, you know what? Someone, $1 billion idea. Cannabis diapers. Get on that. It's someone's fetish. It's someone's something. It's very funny to see what my phone thinks when I'm saying fistula, because I take it through voice. Sometimes when I say fistula, it writes down 5th of July. So also, in case I said 5th of July at any point, did not mean that. Day 34. I've decided that when I stumble upon some porn, I'll take it in for a bit just to edge and help rev up those fryers, even though I won't jerk it. I just want to be forming as much connection as possible. I was making my schedule for the week and realized that I'm closer to working out and jerking off than I thought. 6 weeks? It's creeping up. Next week? Will I be ready next week? Gotta keep kicking ass at PT. Again, future Jesse popping in to say that this is not correct. I just want to make sure that 6 weeks is not... Remember what I was saying before about it's 6 weeks from surgery, not 6... whatever the fuck. I am future Jesse and I'm tired, but just remember what I said before. I don't know if I'm saying it correct now. Whatever I said before is the good. Okay, back to the past. I also realized that me enjoying porn is me getting used to my new body. I always used to get off focusing on the cis dude in porn, on his dick, on when he comes, and that would make me come. I only have a butthole and a dick now. I could just enjoy porn now. I could be the dude in these scenarios. I can fuck people with my dick. As weird as it sounds, I need to get used to who I am and what my body can do now. I don't have to be afraid of anything anymore. I can just have sex. I don't have to be nervous that a guy's gonna accidentally rub against any junk I don't have anymore. That's not a problem that I will have anymore. I could just pull out a condom and fuck a girl who wants to have sex with me, and that's just it. Don't have to worry about any parts I don't have anymore. My dick is learning how to pilot my dick now. Sure, but I'm also learning how to pilot my whole lower half again. Wow, how exciting though, man. Shit. I try to crack my knuckles on my left hand, and the flexibility is there to do it. They don't crack, but wow, we're getting there. It's barely puffy. It's roughly the same size as my right hand now. We're almost there. I can see the finish line. It's funny talking about finishing after the conversation that we've just had. Is it a conversation? No, it's not really. It's just me talking at you. It's weird. It's me in the present, which will soon be past Jesse, but me, I am present Jesse, and I'm talking for past Jesse, reading the words past Jesse has written. Time is fucky. Another time peeing, I realized that I can avoid pee dripping down my legs from leaking from the fistula if when I'm about to pee, I ball up some toilet paper and press it gently against the fistula, cutting it off before it has a chance to go crazy. I realize that since 6 weeks is coming up, I'll be able to run soon, and I wonder if I can run with my dingus in my pants? Do I need compression shorts, a jock strap? I put the question on a list that I compile for me to ask, or for if they call me to check in once I hit 6 weeks. I run the dishwasher and have a few spoons of chocolate ice cream. My arm pain is noticeable, so I take a Tylenol, even though I've taken an extra Advil. Yes, everything's waking up. I also want to note that it's not the whole arm that hurts, it's just the middle of the graft where 2 pieces were sewn together to connect it, and also just where my hand is numb now, the palm below my thumb. Testing my left hand, I try to crack my wrist. It doesn't crack, but I can feel it almost there. When we stayed in the hotel, we had someone take a picture for us, and they knew about the arm. She knew I was going in for surgery and stuff, because she also had an injury or something that she was talking about. She said to do PT. It's gonna suck. She was right, but she was like, it's gonna suck. Just keep doing the PT. I have one more to go tonight, and I don't want to. Please don't make me. Oh, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. After, I make some veggies and pasta, because your boy did not eat healthy today, and I am hungry. I didn't cook my pasta for long enough, and it's already in the bowl with veggies, so I can't fix it. I can't put it back in. I can't cook it more. This is punishment for not doing PT in a timely manner. Almost on cue, I realize my hand has enough flexibility in it that I'm seemingly doing everything just fine. Yeah, I know it's barely puffy anymore. Yeah, I know it's because of PT. Yeah, I know. I'll do it. I'll do the thing that's good for me. Fuck. I do my last PT of the day. I'm dreading it, but I know I have to take the garbage out because it's just about to overflow. I know it's probably so cold outside. I psych myself up and say we'll just be in and out real quick, or I guess out and in real quick. I weigh my jacket options, trying to find the warmest but also biggest sleeve size so it won't be too harsh on my arm, and decide on Tyler's jacket from Tell Me Why. I got a size too big, so that's a good option. I step outside and it's fucking snowing. Very tiny flakes, but definitely visible. It's so damn cold. There's one poor guy who's taking his dog out to pee, and I count my blessings. Khaleesi is a cat, and I don't have to worry about that right now. I've never gotten in and out of my house so quickly before. I go to the bathroom before I try to sleep and decide to sit down, and the toilet seat is so fucking cold. Later, I wake up to pee. It's the first morning my arm doesn't hurt too bad. Don't really feel pain in it until I get up and flex my hand. I was also about to lay down on bed. What was I trying to say here? I was also able to lay it down on the bed without feeling any surges of pain or anything. Okay, I have a lot of sexy thoughts, and I chase them for a good 45 minutes on and off, just chilling in bed. I decide to start my day at 6 p.m. This is fine. I pee. So much cum drips out. So much. It won't stop coming out. Slow. It's very hot. It's so much. I realize my dick stitch is bleeding. It's where there's been a knot, in the stitch. It'll dissolve, but thrusting probably agitated it. I'm not jerking off, but I'm thrusting. Sometimes you get injuries during sex that you don't notice because you're so in the moment. I can't be mad. I'm too excited about the cum. I pee 45 minutes later and cum is still getting washed out of my dick. I take a Tylenol 2 hours before my Advil is due. Just a little annoying pain in my arm like yesterday. Seems a little less bad today. The dryness on my left arm is spreading to other parts of the arm that aren't the graft. Lotion will solve the problem once I'm able to put it on. It's good to know the blood pressure pills had nothing to do with my hand being puffy. It's almost back to normal now. Day 35. The fistula is only dripping now, not a solid stream. I think part of the reason, besides the fact that I'm only weeks out from surgery and I can't feel all of it yet, I'm feeling a little bit of dysphoria for my penis is because it doesn't have a head yet. I enjoy my little elephant trunk, but I am a white American boy and my brain has been turned to mush and conditioned by pornography. We expect a penis to look a certain way. Even with guys I've hooked up with who have been uncircumcised, I've had difficulty understanding that their penis is a penis. So it's not a transphobic thing. It's a toxic masculine thing. It's a basic misunderstanding that penises are different shapes and sizes. Today I wanted to see how my size stacks up, even though I'm 4 inches right now, and will get a little longer once the rod and the head of my penis are attached. I got an article specifically targeted at men that are 4 inches long, like specifically that amount, which basically tells them, hey, you don't have a small penis, and you're only 1 inch below the American average, and no one cares about 1 inch or even notices it. It's a very heteronormative article and assumes that you want to have sex with a woman if you're reading this article, which in their defense, yeah, I don't care what men think about my size. It's only women I'm concerned about, which is funny because I didn't think about it until just this moment. But yeah, I only give a shit about women. when it comes to the size. But it gives the statistics about how it's only men who give a shit, and women really don't care how big their sexual partner is, and a decent percentage of them, in fact, want their sexual partner to be smaller. It made me realize how silly and toxic my line of thinking was, how we're our own worst critic. And the people that I'll be having sex with, they're gonna think I'm big or just not give a shit and want me to fuck them because I'm me. And the fact that I'm a quote-unquote perfect size is just a nice little bonus. The article also talks about how if you're larger than the average of 5 inches, you could actually hurt your sexual partner if they have a vagina. And not to shame anyone with a larger than average penis, but that's something I hadn't considered either. Because even though I used to have any junk, I don't actually know what it feels like to comfortably have sex with it because I was never meant to have one. I never connected to it in a real way or could even understand it. But I can remember that smaller was better, which I had chalked up to me not enjoying using it, but maybe it was true for cis women as well. After my shower, I see that the stitches in my ball sack are becoming more visible. I just leave them alone. They'll fall out or dissolve on their own. While I'm looking at them, I notice a string of stitch loose in my penis. I cut it free. I wash the towels, and my sack's underwear seems to be favored for now, at least, since it's easier to stick toilet paper in. My washing machine is making extremely loud noises like something's rattling around in there. I go in the kitchen later and see that it's moved itself a few feet. I managed to move it back, careful of my left hand. Of course this would happen when I'm not at full strength. Aw, man, I see what that noise was when I transferred the clothes to the dryer. One of my favorite pairs of underwear's waistband is completely shredded and got tied up in the towels I was washing. They were on their way out. You know, they were old, but it sucks. It was one of the pouch pairs like sacks, you know, so I'm down one now. I haven't taken muscle relaxer in 2 days, but I take one now. My back and my body is stiff. Are stiff? They're stiff. I've been relying on my muscles a lot, getting out of bed and standing up from my chair, so that makes sense. I realize me being in sweatpants has been nice and warm and comfy, but might not be helping me realize I have a dick now. I don't wear my pants for a bit. I'm less warm, but it's good to have bonding time. I look at my reflection, and it occurs to me that every mirror I look in is the mirror of Erised. Like, you know, fuck Harry Potter, but it used to mean a lot to me. I've been doing a protein shake every day, but I haven't been drinking my probiotic. I just know it's a thing that was making me sick. It has the most sugar, and it's not something I normally put in my body, so doing so much of it was making me reject it. I just want to reiterate, it's because of my stupid fading condition. You can drink probiotic. It won't affect you like it affected me. I do PT 4 times. I got up and peed. The fistula is still dripping. I went to brush my teeth and do other things, but I realized my Advil was an hour late, so I should take that before I forget. It's cool that I wasn't in pain and I forgot to take it, though. The smell they were talking about is still there. I can notice it when I take my pants off, but I don't really mind it at all. I realize I have a bunch of the bigger size ABD pads and I'm running out of the smaller, so I should try to wear one. Not as comfortable. It covers more of my undercarriage. It feels like a diaper, but I'm used to it because I had to wear pads when I had a cycle, even though that was many years ago. But because it hurts too much to use tampons. Yes, all of my female anatomy was incredibly fucked, and I'm glad it's gone. Like, what? What do you mean you couldn't use tampons? Yeah, my body just rejected all of it. It sucked. Very happy, very glad I am here doing this now. It's so large that it keeps moving out of place. I have to keep resetting it every time I walk or sit down or anything. I'm still amazed that I feel zero dysphoria from peeing while sitting down or having to manage the fistula. I guess because I know in reality I have a dick and a butthole now. The fistula doesn't resemble any junk or anything, and I'm not having to wipe it or anything, so I guess it makes sense. It's just interesting that I'm in this in-between state of accepting my penis as my own despite not having all the feeling in it and also not feeling bottom dysphoria from the fistula. We're more on the side of acceptance, which is great. I'd say we're 70-30 on that front. So today is the first day that I honestly feel like my hand is okay. Like I woke up in the morning feeling kind of like my arm usually does, where like I feel a little stiffness once I start to wake up and I start to get out of bed. And in the past, it used to be that like I would wake up and my arm would hurt. But now today is the first day, like it happens so slowly that today is the day that I have noticed that I got up and I was like, okay, time to start my day. And I didn't think about my hand or my arm being stiff until I got out of bed. And even then, I got up and I peed and I was going to brush my teeth. And I realized that I was like an hour late taking my Advil. And I was like, oh, I should take that before the pain gets worse. And I went and took it just to have it in my system. And I've noticed now, several hours later, that my hand is fine. I think I have almost full mobility in my hand. I do not, like, if I'm isolating my hand from my arm, I don't think anything is wrong. I don't think that I've had surgery at all. Like, I can move it, and I feel like I will be able to crack my fingers in the next coming days. I already cracked one of them. I think it was like this finger. And that's really cool. So now it is just the case of getting my wrist back up to speed. I don't know what the muscle is called, but like the arm part, I'm stretching it like this, and it feels like I feel a little something where I'm like, oh, I need to loosen it up a little bit more here, like when I reach right here. But the exercise that they got me in the beginning doing was like here and going down here, and then going back up and doing this slowly for 10 reps. And that's nothing now. Like I don't feel basically any uncomfortability, excuse me, when I do this. Like I do it once, I feel uncomfortable, and then the next rep's fine. So that's why I've had to start going here. I was like, you need to feel tension, you need to feel like something is stretching, otherwise the exercise isn't doing anything. So I tried going here, and now I've slowly built myself up, so now I'm like going here and going back and forth. And even here, I'm barely feeling any. Oh, hello. She's been upset because I've been still blocking her out of my room because, like, when I'm sleepy and she's fucking with things in my room, I have to, like, be like, don't do that, or whatever. Hello. What's up? You're very cute. She knows I'm talking about her. But if she's on my shelves in my room, usually I have to be like, I don't want to say, get down and say her name in this in the stern tone that I want to the camera, because she's right here and I don't want her to think she's doing anything wrong. But I'll be stern with her and be like, I don't know what you're doing, Oh, hi. You're so sweet. Yeah? What's up? You want attention? Yeah, she does. Well, I'm explaining, Khaleesi, that she wants attention because normally she sleeps with me at night, and especially when it's been getting colder, she loves to like curl up with Dad and like sleep, and I haven't allowed her to do that. And so she was crying when I would lock her out, and she's stopped crying the last couple days. But she's like, I caught her in there, like just now I was on the computer and I went to get something in my room and I caught her sleeping, and she misses it. And I feel bad, and it made my heart sad, but, I'm like, soon, I promise. That's the main motivation for getting my arm better, is that I can just sleep with my kitty again. No one's really commented on it yet, but I get the feeling, like, I wonder if people are going to ask, are you going to get your scar tattooed? And I'm sure maybe some of you are thinking that as well. And I don't know how to say this in not a mean way, because I don't mean this in a mean way when I say it, because I also thought this, because I don't know anything about scars. But the people who are thinking that, I'm not sure if they know how scars work, because this is very fresh. It's not even 2 months old. And it is healing so well that by the time it is able to be tattooed over, there might not be any scar to like tattoo over. I'm going to be taking care of it with oils and specifically like this specific skin graft, there are trans dudes who have come before me who have gotten really good results because they just work on it with like special oils and stuff, which I can't list off the top of my head, but I got them, and also different strategies of like one dude wore I've been talking, the Sika Care sheet with a sleeve over it for a month while he slept, and you can't even see anything basically. Like you can see it if you're like looking for it, but not really. So some guys have, and that's like, scars fucking rule. They're hot, and I thought about it for other people, because I was thinking about if someone had a scar, would I find them more attractive? And the answer is yes, and I hadn't thought about that. But thinking about it for myself is a little different, because like I'm not attracted to myself, but I love myself, and I wanted to think of. I'm sorry, my cat is very distracting. What are you doing, baby? Either way, if you want to leave your scar, it's cool. If you want a tattoo over it, that's cool too. But some guys, like, they just don't. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. She's so lovey right now, and I know why. Because the reasons that I just talked about. It's because you want attention, because you're not sleeping with me at night. Fuck, Khaleesi, what was I even saying? But yeah, even if you could see something, I would probably still leave it, just because I'm gonna pet the cat. I can't not pet the cat, which is the main thing, that the reason that I wanted to get my hand back to normal is to pet the cat. Petting kitties. Are you a baby? You're just a little baby, huh? I like scars. I would just leave it if I did, because I like scars. It looks cool. So I'll leave it no matter what. I don't see myself getting a tattoo, but if I do, I have an idea for it. Probably wouldn't be the whole thing. Maybe just like the edge. But we really have to wait and see, because like with all the treatments that I'm going to be doing on it, a year from now, there might not be anything to actually see. My washing machine is doing the thing again. Hold on. Don't move, you shit. I can tell my washing machine has moved. It's moved at least a few feet this way. Because like if you look at it this way, I had that pushed all the way back. Oh, you motherfucker. Don't move. This is very rude. Don't move. I've realized a new thing that has developed is that when someone calls me in the morning, and I attribute this to masculine things, because it tends to happen, at least what I've seen with men, with cis men, is that I will get a call or a text while I'm sleeping, and I'll pick it up, and I'll fully have a conversation, and then wake up later and be like, oh shit, I had a conversation, and like try to remember it. I remember something happened, but I can't remember the conversation. I just get in such a deep sleep, and I that only started happening once I started taking testosterone. I'm almost 3 years on T now. I think it's Saturday, I think is my T day. It's January 8th. I'll be 3 years old. Don't worry, it's not weird. It's anime rules. It's like fucking video game rules where like I look older but I'm younger. Don't make it weird. Anyway, funny how changes happen was the point of me saying all that. Everyone has Omicron. Is that the new variant? Everyone it has it right now, especially in the last 2 weeks. I'm just staying indoors. I keep saying and thinking like, oh my god, the surgery happened at the perfect time. I had no clue that like Omni was going to emerge and become the new variant that is apparently like just, I don't know if it's more contagious. Just seems like everyone is getting it like the last 2 weeks. But this is like a little time capsule where hopefully if you're watching this video like 5 years from now, you're like, wow, remember when we used to wear masks? Or you were a baby maybe when that happened, and now you're like, wow, this is crazy. We're watching this in the year 2045. Are we still alive? Did global warming happen? It'll be that I just turned this into one of those posts where it's like, today is the only day you can retweet this. Maybe Twitter doesn't exist anymore. Maybe the world, we're living in bunkers, and I've said a bunch of things that don't make sense. Either way, it dates this pretty heavily. But yeah, that's the update for now. I am almost at 6 weeks, so I can technically start masturbating and working out. Starting slow, just feeling things out. I'm just doing PT and seeing if we can get my flexibility back before that happens. Because like even for push-ups, I was like, okay, if I was working out right now, would I be able to do everything that I can usually do? And I can curl my arm, but this is the most flexibility I have with my wrist right now, this way and then this way. And that's the main thing, is like if I want to do a push-up, I'm not quite there. So I'm not 100% better where I can like do a push-up and bend this the way it's supposed to, but I am at a point where I can get up out of my chair and like push the arm of the chair with my hand, and I don't feel anything weird about it. So I'm in a good zone. I'm in a sweet spot. You know, I like where I'm at. It could be worse. I really kicked ass with physical therapy, and I knew it was gonna suck, but you just do it 4 to 5 times a day, and you're gonna see results. And you know, that's what my mindset was. Is like they were even the physical, like everyone was more chill about it than I thought. I thought this was going to be a long, arduous process of me spending months and months like working on getting my hand back into working shape. But the doctors, the surgeons, the person who taught me physical therapy, everyone is very chill about it, and we're like, yeah, no, you just do it, and then your hand will get better. So I did, and I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. So, but it's good. I'm glad that I over-prepared. I'm glad that I thought this was going to be worse than it actually turned out to be, because now I am pleasantly surprised, and my spirits are high as a result. And as you can see, my hand is just a teensy bit puffy. Like, it's basically the same size as my other hand. It's just like, there's still some puffiness to it, but we're almost there. And if you want to take a look at my arm, I don't know if the camera can accurately show you, but it looks great. Like I think most of the scabs you can see have fallen off. And it's really bugging me that I can't just nudge these scabs and make them, you know, get off of me. But we're just gonna have patience. Transition and this surgery in general, it teaches you a lot of patience, because, you know, you see acne on your face, you want to pick at it, whatever. You see this, I know I can't pick at this because I want to give my hand the best shot at healing. Yeah, it looks great. This it's just like in the molting dry skin phase where when I do physical therapy, I usually you put down I'm supposed to be doing the exercise where I do this and then flex down on a pillow or something soft. So I put my plaid shirt on the chair armrest, and I do it there. And then once I take it off, I see that a bunch of dry skin Elmer's glue shavings, or what I call them, because it reminds me of when you used to put Elmer's glue on your hand in art class and then peel it off. A bunch of that is on the shirt afterwards. So I'm like, oh cool, it's gonna fall off on its own naturally when you just, you know, exist. I even Googled, I was like, do scabs eventually fall off? And they do. So it's all a process of that. A very attractive girl, 2 of them actually, messaged me on OkCupid today, and it was the first time that I didn't feel scared to talk to a cis woman, if that makes sense. Because before, there's a bunch of different fears that go through your brain where it's not like scary, but it is intimidating, where I'm like, okay, first question, did they see that I'm trans? I listed on my profile. Sometimes people don't read the profile. So that right off the bat is like, okay, do you want anything to do with me? If not, we gotta disconnect right now. And then the second thing is like, oh, are they gonna know what to do with me? Am I an experiment? Blah, blah, blah. But I thought about me being with a cis woman sexually, And it wasn't intimidating at all because I was like, oh, I have a penis. I would fuck them with my penis if they would like me to do that. That felt good. Like, it felt like, oh, that's right. I can just date now. I can just exist and not have to worry about, like, do they know that I'm not going to want anything to do with my any junk? Do they know all this shit? Because I still am trans, but now there's, I don't know. I guess there's less of a cultural misunderstanding, where cis women, even if they are queer in some way, sometimes they misunderstand. They just don't have experience with trans people, and when you just don't have trans friends, sometimes you will say things or think things that are incorrect, but no one's been around to correct you or talk to you about it. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. The same kind of work that cis women have to do with cis men, where, you know, there's this stereotype about how, and it's a stereotype for a reason, it's true, that like a lot of cis women end up being collateral damage for men becoming functional human beings. Like, they just don't, you know, like a guy, and you know, I went through this too with my previous partner, where I was kind of a piece of shit, and my partner turned me into a good person, and then we broke up, and now I'm better for my next partner. But they had to suffer through a lot of like shitty things that I said and did to them, because I didn't know better. And now I know better for my next partner, but they're still suffering maybe from trauma that I'm not aware of or processed or whatever. Like I don't know, we've talked about it, and they've been like, hey, it's cool, we're cool. But there's stuff. There's little baggage. There's little baglets, you know, like there's little surprise luggage that sometimes you don't realize is a trauma trigger of some kind, but then something will remind you of an ex, and you're like, oh, that sucks that I associate this thing with them, and I don't know what I left in the wake of, like, my first ex-girlfriend. I was like a dumb piece of shit when I dated her, and you know, and our relationship wasn't perfect and she wasn't perfect, but I was, you know, like, there's I don't know what damage I've done to people, just like some people don't know what damage they've done to me. We're all just trying to figure things out, basically. And just like cis women have to do work for cis men to turn them into good human beings, so then they're better for partners down the line, trans people have to do work on cis women, usually, who want to date us, because they just don't know better. Like, there were things that were stupid and misogynistic that I said to partners or did, and I didn't know until they were like, that kind of sucks for these reasons. And I was like, oh, okay, now I know better. And I corrected it for the future. But just like that, there are things that are transphobic that people don't know are transphobic. Is that the correct grammar? You know what I'm trying to say. And so even though that I'm still trans, dating or hooking up with cis women doesn't intimidate me anymore, which is really a cool feeling that I did not know I felt that way until it actually happened today. And it feels good. Feels really good. That's what's happening right now in my life. Did I show you the tiger? It's one of the notes my friend left for me. They're very good. I'll just find these little notes around. You can see that one. That one's very good. I'm sure I will put these on camera at some point. This one's actually a good reminder because, like, when I've been walking around, I actually could maybe accidentally shut my dick in this fridge door. So thank you for the reminder.
Day 36. I order more smaller ABD pads. Luckily, they come in a box of 20, so I'm not going to waste any by getting too much. I got big ones for going outside, and it still seems like it wouldn't work given the test runs. I take an anxiety pill for funsies. I think taking one every day lessens the effects, so we'll see if it affects me more now that I haven't done one in a while. I already feel a little high. I think it's just from being happy in my life and in my body. I stopped dripping the sinks. It was 40 degrees around midnight. I think we're in the clear winter storm-wise. Walking around naked feels really, really good.
I can feel my balls tucked between my legs like they're supposed to be, my dick flopping and bouncing lightly as I saunter around making food, going from the kitchen to the living room to the office, which is really just one big room because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I have to put underwear on before I make food, but I appreciate it while I can. I think I cracked my left wrist. It was so fast I didn't even notice it. It's usually more intense. In the shower, when I wash the fistula, it feels like it's even more closed today. It's really fucking cold. It also seems like there's a lot less blood on the padding that I keep in my underwear. I'm actually feeling drowsy from the anxiety pill, so I turn in early having done PT 3 times. I wake up, check my phone, and think 10:30? Aw man, so late to wake up. And then I look at my curtains, and the sun is coming up, and I realize it's 10:30 in the morning, not 10:30 at night. I remember that I took my anxiety pill, which helps me get back on track. When I get up to pee, there's barely anything on the ABD pad, which I take as a good sign. I try not to get my hopes up, but I go to pee standing up, and the fistula is dripping the least amount it ever has. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. We'll see if it gets worse during the day or not, but either way, a really good sign. Okay, I did a dumb thing, and then I did a badass thing to fix it. This next 30 seconds might be a little tough to hear. So just plug them if you're squeamish. First off, I'll say don't touch scabs, no matter how healed you think it is underneath. All right, it's I was thinking it's almost 6 weeks. It's got to be done healing. Well, some of it is, not all of it is. I try to lift up a scab. It's not ready yet. I pull a bit of skin tissue with it. Ruh-roh. I can't feel that part of my arm, and I realize what I have to do, which is I cut it clean with scissors. I knew I'd chicken out if I thought about it, so I just did it. I put bacitracin on it afterwards, and then I realized I didn't disinfect the scissors or anything, so I put hydrogen peroxide on the little area, and I let it sit for like 5 minutes, and then I rinse it off with cold water, as the internet says to, and I take a Tylenol. I could feel the pain creeping up on me. You can sometimes still feel pain from an area on your body that's numb. It just takes longer to get to you, like a cat sitting in the sink waiting for water to sink into its fur. I reapply the bacitracin afterwards and take a nap because I feel like shit, and I'm so nervous about whether I did the right thing or not. Also, future Jesse popping in to say it healed completely fine. Everything turned out okay. Everything's great. But oof, in the moment I was nervous. I'm not consuming enough food to justify all the vitamins and pills that I'm swallowing. I know I'm not, but that doesn't make it better or easier. Sometimes you do your best, and your best is shit, and that's okay because at least you did it. Everything else is healing great. After I've just peed, I almost can't believe my eyes when there isn't anything dripping out of the fistula. It's only after I've peed 90% of it that some small drops appear from the fistula. Amazing, really good, holy shit. I don't mind laying down because I feel like shit, because at least the vitamins are doing their job. Once the fistula closes, I will gain my squatty potty privileges back. Oh, and the little toilet rug that goes around the base as well. I moved those when I got home from the hospital because I didn't want them to get in the way while pee is coming from places other than my dick. But once it's all fixed, I can enjoy elevated poops and safety from the cold floor. Walking around naked yesterday made me realize just how comfortable and connected to my body I'll feel once the fistula closes. It makes such a difference for there not to be an ABD pad down there, to feel your balls between your legs, the warmth of your dick sitting on them. Even though I can't feel all of my dick yet, you know, it makes a big difference to be able to see/feel the whole package as a twirl. I have my first pee with zero leakage from the fistula. I dry it as I usually do with the tissue, and there's a tiny mixture of blood and urine, but it's the smallest damn thing. Holy shit. I go to Amazon and request to cancel my order of ABD pads since I've got a few left and I could totally use the bigger ones if I need to, if it's only going to be once or twice. Holy shit. Sleeping is when you heal. It's something I've been told a lot, whether it's for exercise or a cold or healing of any kind. Emotional healing. I feel better after I get some sleep. But It's a real reminder when I got a good amount of sleep, I woke up and my fistula was leaking a tiny bit. And then I took a 3-hour nap and woke up and it didn't leak at all. Sleep is good. Day 37. It's 56 degrees at midnight, so I finally go for a little walk to get my mail. For all my anxiety about my mailbox being overfull, it's empty. Love how your brain is sometimes. I didn't have to worry about anything. I shower, and when I wash the fistula, I can feel just how closed up it is. I pee, and none of it comes out of the fistula. All of it is from the penis. The pee comes out the penis. What a novel concept. I pat the fistula dry, and there's some blood and healy mucus, as usual. I'm needlessly anxious about the little bit of skin I snipped from my arm. It was excess skin. I gave it 2 rounds of hydrogen peroxide and bacitracin, and it was absolutely teeny tiny, so I take an anxiety pill just to help me chill out. It really isn't a big deal, and it'll go down with the rest of it once I'm able to use Sikacare sheets and oils, and even if that wasn't true, there's nothing I can do but wait for it to heal. 90% of the scabs are gone at this point. And I'm also talking about my arm when I say that. I hope that's clear. I was considering taking a very early nocturnal Jessie trip to Target to stock up on some things that I need, but the anxiety pill might be making me a little sleepy sleep, so I go to the bathroom one last time before going to bed and seeing how long it'll last. I do PT 4 times. I pay my hospital bill from stage 1, which is great because it's due today, and I called the number last night and they had me leave a message and say that I needed to pay it. You know, and I left a message earlier today like, hey, I haven't heard back and it's due today, so just letting you know I want to give you money. I mean, I don't want to, but I will. And they finally hit me back, which is great because the message said they would return my call in 24 hours, and I just wanted to make sure. Being an adult means sometimes you have to follow up with people because you can't trust anyone. It's probably a good just don't trust anyone. I don't know if that's the best thing to say, but it is what I believe. I woke up at 10 and then went back to sleep and woke up at 3. I love that I'm getting so much sleep. That's when healing is done, as we've learned. And the anxiety pill is definitely the cause. That's definitely why I'm so sleepy. I stay in bed rolling around and checking my phone on and off for 2 more hours and realize I might be a little unmotivated to get up. Living the same day over and over and over can be intimidating, I've learned from quarantine. It's nearly 7 p.m. now. I should get up. My arm hurts, but not in any of the places where I've messed with my stitches prematurely, so that's good. I started doing Duolingo again. I'm not sure if I've talked about it on here, but last year I did it for an entire month straight. It was really good. It helped me feel more secure in my Mexican skin. A lot of children of different generations feel like we're not Hispanic enough or Asian enough or whatever enough because we don't speak the language. I wasn't raised with my father, and I don't even think he speaks it fluently, so unless I grew up with my abuela, I wasn't going to learn it. High school Spanish was great and taught me a lot that I can draw from, but sometimes I wish I spoke it more fluently. I've never felt more comfortable in my ethnicity since transition. Before, no one knew what race I was. Often people would think I was Italian. I've talked about this, but in these past years, since my face and body have grown and changed to what they were supposed to be, the strangest thing has happened where Hispanic people have recognized me as one of their own. It just keeps happening. Strangers who are also Hispanic will speak to me familiarly, like sometimes even speaking Spanish, like I'll understand it. It's been so lovely. Hopefully the little Duolingo owl will give me a little discipline and routine to make my days feel less repetitive and stagnant. My arms feel very stiff, but it might just be because I spent so long sleeping and not moving at all. Doing my first PT of the day, it still feels stiff. Afterwards, my hand feels better, but there's still pain in my arm. There's some pain in my taint, and twice now I've gotten a little itch feeling, like before, where I obviously couldn't scratch it. Both of these are good signs, probably. I'm gaining feeling in the area, and it's also healing. I take a Tylenol. Day 38. I put on my Spider-Man costume. I will be perfectly transparent. There's a cute girl on OkCupid that wants to see me in it, so I put it on. I don't have any good pictures of it, of me wearing it. I put it on. It's fine. I'm really careful with my left arm. The suit looks good. When I take it off, I notice a tiny spot on my left arm is open the teeniest amount, just a tiny amount of blood showing through. The skin is just sensitive. I haven't been able to treat it yet. I put bacitracin on it. Peeing is still going really well. The little spot on my arm is already basically healed. My arm hurts though, unrelated. I pee, the fistula leaks a bit, but it's a lot of pee. My dick has multiple streams, it's like a fire hose. I crack my left and ring knuckles. My balls hurt, and I know it's only because I still have to swallow them like a baby. It's very close to healing and letting them just vibe. I'm starting to prepare for my first big outing to the supermarket. I ordered some smoothies from Revive, and I need to get some milk for them, as well as some other groceries. I try to figure out which configuration of bags I should bring. I'll have to wrap my arm as well. Everything should fit in my backpack, but I should make sure of it. Normally, I could fuck up and get too many groceries and just power through carrying them all, but with my arm at a disadvantage, I have to be totally sure I can carry everything on my back if that's the only bag I bring. I test my limits, carefully, and crack my left wrist. Might be a weird thing, but it makes me so fucking happy. I'm able to do something I regularly did pre-surgery, something I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do again afterwards. I cracked 2 out of 5 knuckles so far. I can do my wrist, I have regular motion in my hand, and can probably play video games. Gives me hope. Just gotta keep working and I'll be able to do a push-up. I pee and the fistula leaks a teeny bit. My ballsack feels a little wet, so I put some toilet paper in between my penis and my balls and let it rest there while I dry the fistula. Afterwards, I find some dried blood on the toilet paper from my ballsack and realize that it was bleeding a little bit. Not now, it must have been earlier. My pubes are growing in that area, though, and I hope it can offer some cushioning. It's time for the grocery store to open. I crack my door to see how warm I should dress. It's fucking freezing. Fuck, I don't want to do this. Fuck, the only other option is to bug my friends to give me a ride, and it'll be when germy fucks are in the grocery store, so... Fuck, I'm gonna do this, aren't I? I get dressed. Fuck. I use paper tape to secure my ABD pad to my boxers. I bandage my arm and, carefully, bundle up. Fuck, it's cold. I've never gone grocery shopping with a penis before. My arm bandaged and covered by my shirt/coat. I don't really feel like anything is odd or out of place, because I can't see it. Fuck, it's cold. My right hand feels it. It's, my balls ache a little. It's because I've never walked this much with them. I get home and carefully peel myself out of my layers and the backpack. I check and the paper tape surprisingly held the whole time. Hell yeah. I undo my bandage and it seems part of one of the last scabs on my wrist got half of it knocked off at some point, and it's because it was healed underneath. Learning my lesson from last time, I don't rip the other half off. I let it heal like a good boy. I cut the other part off. I cut the other part of the scab off with scissors instead. Half an hour later, I go to pee, and my dick is so cold from the tip to halfway up. I don't want to use a hairdryer. I don't want to damage it because I can't feel it, but my poor penis. I rub it gently and wrap it in tissues and put it back in my underwear. I can't feel all of it, so I just want to make sure I'm taking care of him. Another half an hour after that, I remove the tissues from my dick, and it's still chilly, poor guy. I put sweatpants back on to try to warm him up. Khaleesi seems to always know when I'm feeling sick or sad or in trouble because she jumps up on me, avoiding stepping on my dick, thank you, and lays down on my lap, warming him indirectly. Well, yeah, I guess that's a way to do it. Thanks, buddy. Oh, she just got up, stuck her face in my water mug, and sniffled. Fuck you, buddy. What the fuck? I asked Google what to do about my cold penis, and it says to put a sock on it. I asked Twitter instead, because I don't know if that's correct. They say to put on warmer underwear. But that's like more advice for next time I go out. Someone suggests a warm shower, which sounds great. I can't feel my dick fully, so I wait a bit first, so I'm not just going from extreme cold to extreme heat. You know what that does to glasses out of the dishwasher. I worked at Olive Garden. If some of you might not know what you're... Okay, so little little sidebar. I was working at Olive Garden one time, and there was the dishes had just come out of the dishwasher. There was a glass, and it was hot, And then I took it and I put cold water in it, or a cold liquid of some kind, and it started like leaking from a little bit of it. And my coworker saw that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you got to be careful of that." I've seen a glass explode once, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, because you can't. If the glass is hot, you put cold in it, the glass can't take it. It just shatters. So like, just a glass will just like explode." And I was like, "Oh, that's good to know." Anyway, that's what I was talking about. If you haven't worked in service industry, back to the notes. Don't want to have the frostbite effect that happens on your fingers with my dick, extreme hot, extreme cold. I take my shower. My dick is already back to room temperature before I start it. It's wild how closed the fistula feels. I was saying before how I can tell how well my arm's healed by how well I can wash my armpits and my back with it. I washed today with no issues at all. My smoothies arrived so I can go to sleep whenever. My arm and fistula are hurt, so I take a Tylenol. I do PT 4 times, but it's 2 p.m. now, so I should get some sleep. I pee once before, and the fistula leaks down my leg, but barely. I don't even need to catch the urine right away. I can basically wait until I'm done peeing. My back hurts a little. My body is stiff because I'm not able to stretch and work out like I usually do. I take a muscle relaxer. I wake up a few hours later full of pee, and going to pee, it comes from my fistula due to the volume of pee that I have. But when I go to dab it afterwards, there's no blood or anything else for the first time, except urine. Just urine. Interesting. My hand also hurts because I was, due Advil 2 hours ago. I don't know if that's why I woke up, but my arm does hurt quite a bit, I notice, after I pee. I dreamed that I got my first blowjob. It's a very horny dream, which is interesting because I've been trying to get horny on purpose during the day just to form some connection sparks, and I haven't been able to get into it for a bit. The spark starts, and I feel horned, but then after like 30 seconds, it's done, and I don't want to think about horny stuff. So it's good that my sex drive is still there. I think it's just that while I have ABD pads in my pants, I'm going to have difficulty seeing my body as my own. I get up at 10 p.m. and go to pee. The ABD pad doesn't really have blood on it, just what I assume is pee and sweat. Day 39. The large ABD pads make my butt sweat. I always notice that they're soaked when I pull them up after going to the bathroom, from sleeping and rolling around in covers and all that. I realized why I've smelled more the last 2 days is because of the larger ABD pads. They soak in more of the area, so naturally the healing smell that, takes place during then would be more intense. I don't mind it, it's just something to know if you're going to use the bigger ones. I'm trying to figure out who I want to give me my first blowjob, and that is such a spoiled concept. I am very grateful that I have options. The main issue is COVID. That weighs into it. It's a vulnerable act. I need someone I can trust. I wonder about topping before stage 2 and research if I can wear a strap-on if I have a penis. Guys who are smaller or have ED, erectile dysfunction, must have options. Yeah, they have to. I think of how my old extender used to work. I don't know where it would go. If I put it above my penis, it would push on my bladder. I Google how to wear strap-on if you have a penis. I see options for double penetration if you want to put a strap on with a dildo below your dick so you can fuck someone in both holes at once. I realize penis extenders probably exist, and I look into them. I also find a masturbator sleeve, which seems great for hitting the base of my dick. I don't know the diameter of my penis and am a himbo, so it would take me weeks to figure out, and I still might get it wrong. I don't think I'll fit while soft anyway. I look at the hollow penis sleeves. Many are bigger, 7.5, 10 inches, but I realize there have to be options for guys that are 3 or 4 inches. I find one that's 7 inches. Partners I top are kinky, already enjoy 6 or 6.5 inches, so I think they'd be down for that. Ones I'm finding lock onto balls, though. Like, they have a specific thing that locks onto your balls, and That's all I can describe it as, like a lock. I'm a little nervous about that, you know. A cock ring sounds awesome. You know, I had a fuck buddy in Philly who wore one, but my junk situation is different. So I want to make sure I'm doing everything safely. I find a hollow strap-on that doesn't hang on the balls and is 6 inches. It's perfect. I try to find one that doesn't have a string that presses between the balls on my ball sack. It's surprisingly hard to find one, but I find one. It even has an open hole for balls to stick out of, and the reviews look good. One guy says it's hard to get on, and it basically has no stretch, but I'm soft, and I still measure less than what it lists the diameter as, so I should be good, hopefully. I go to the bathroom. The tip of my penis is stuck to my underwear. Removing it, I find that I've produced enough cum that it's stuck. That fucking rules. I go back, and I struggle to figure out the circumference. I realize this newest extender gives the diameter, so it should just be the number of the measurement across. I measure my dick, and it should fit. I notice my leg skin graft is getting darker, which is amazing. I'm already on a sex toy website. I might as well ask all the questions. I start looking for a little pouch for the balls. Everything wants to stretch them. I don't want to stretch them. I just want a little pressure on them, like a nice little hug. A bull bag is the closest thing I can find to what I want. Maybe I could cut the top part that's supposed to pull and separate it from the body. I joke about getting a friend with a free 3D printer to make something. Oh, and also this is future Jesse stopping by to say I don't think the bull bag is actually what I need. I haven't tried it yet, right now at this moment in time. But I think it's just like a little bit of pressure where the T-dick is buried. It's less the scrotum. But also, I at the moment where I'm talking right now, I haven't gotten to stage 2. So we'll see if my anatomy and my feelings and all that change once I have the scrotal implants. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Anyway, back to the past. I noticed some scabs have fallen off. I find a bunch of stuff on sale so I can try some masturbation sleeves. I spent a while finding some that I have the best chance of fitting in. I get 2 of them, as well as a vibrating cock ring that was $3. You know, it was $3. It's the only one that I'm iffy about the size, but worst case, I'll enjoy it after stage 2. Someone said vibration was weak in the review, which might be good for me since, you know, trying a vibrator on the base of my dick was too intense. I got to take a shower, and when I take off my underwear, I freaked out a little because apparently I had been sitting with something pressing against my penis, so there's like a thin line where the circulation was being cut off around my tip. It's such a shape that it even looks like my penis has a head now. If you can imagine that, that's where the circle was. I know that I can't do anything about it, and realistically, it's skin, so it'll just go back to normal if I just give it enough time. So at least I know that, but it doesn't make it any easier. I take my shower, trying not to think about it, but of course I think about it. A watched pot never boils, but as I keep looking down at my penis throughout the shower, I can see it starting to return to normal. I wash the fistula, and it's so dang healed. Almost there. I know I say that every time, but it's true. I go to make some soup, and looking down on my penis, I can see it's almost back to normal. You can relax, Jesse. Give your body time to heal. My arm really hurts after my shower, but washing it was so liberating to see how many of my scabs are gone now. I take a Tylenol. I can see the knot of one of my stitches is visible now, and I leave it the fuck alone, learning my lesson finally. My crotch hurts, but I'm naked walking around to let myself air dry. I think it's my taint, but it feels like my balls. I don't know. I get up from sitting on the puppy pad that I usually do to work and eat, and there's barely anything on it at all. A couple hours later, my dick is almost back to normal, thank God. Of course it'd be. I knew it would. Did I almost freeze and put a ring around my dick within the same 24 hours? My himbo ass needs to be 1,000,000% more careful. I make one of my smoothies, but not before I hit myself in the dick with a gallon of milk. What is going on? I am extra empty brain today. I try a bit of the smoothie, and it needs a scoop of chocolate protein powder, like someone suggested. The anxiety pill kicks in. Sleepy time. I go to bed. I did PT 3 times. I wake up and my hand is stiff. It seems like the swelling hasn't gone down in a while. I'm making progress. Poggers. I'm making progress, though, for sure, in PT, so I wonder when it stops or if it'll stop. I cracked my wrist gently twice yesterday. Flexibility is returning. I pee and do Duolingo to pass the time while my dick continues dripping. So usually with Sepratech underwear, when you put it on, you have to manually make sure your dick is going into the front hole. But with this nice blue pair, I've apparently broken them in enough that my dick just slides right into the hole when I pull them up. Hopefully that happens with the rest of the pairs as well. My dick is totally back to normal. The next few days are going to be great because tomorrow is my tea day. The day after is Euphoria Season 2 comes out day. And then the day after that is 6 weeks in surgery. I go to the bathroom and there's nothing really on the ABD pad when I take it out, despite having worn it an hour or so now. Day 40. Ooh, sitting on the floor is fun with an ABD pad. I love that easy. I guess it's been a while since I've been on the ground. You're like, what's this? Has Dad fallen and cannot get up? Oh, I'm glad I got my kitty petting abilities back. Yeah. Oh. So today's my tea day. It is January 8th. It's been 3 years since I started testosterone, and I made a little post about it. Maybe I'll just read it, because I feel maybe that's a good idea. Happy tea day to me! 3 years ago, I finally gave myself permission to be happy, and I've done more living in them than anything before it. My smile is genuine, my body is finally a home. I'm not afraid of my own shadow. My love is given not out of insecurity, but out of want. I lost so many I'd once thought friends, but I gained the ability to love myself. I lost my suicidal ideation and gained a purpose in life. I lost all the toxicity I carried in my heart and gained hope and independence and a beautiful pair of dick and balls, though I may be biased. I will forever be grateful for the friends who helped me escape my abuser, who protected me, who helped me get a place to live and start my life and turn me into a decent human. Because of them, I was able to mature into a version of Jesse that is brave and kind and strong. When someone transitions, we have this thing where we're like, don't worry, I'm still gonna be the same person, but we're really not. That's a good thing. You fundamentally can't be the same person once you stop hating being alive and start liking existence. You change. The term maniversary never connected with me because I've always been a guy. I don't know what it's like to be a girl. I only know what it's like to be viewed as one and play pretend to survive. I had a lot of internalized misogyny I had to unpack as a result. Tea saved my life in more ways than just getting rid of my dysphoria. I had a laundry list of health conditions that made my quality of life pretty poor. I was likely to develop breast cancer. My fainting condition made me sick or passed out all the time, worsened by endometriosis. My body rejected being female. I was chronically depressed because not only was I in the wrong body, but the one I had was also trying to unalive me constantly. Now I'm in the best shape of my life, and all my health conditions were either cured completely or severely reduced. My dysphoria is basically non-existent. It's so cool to see what my actual personality is, what my actual sexuality is, what my beliefs and hopes and dreams are. You don't really know yourself until you become yourself. It's been a wild ride and the greatest joy of my life. So I posted that on all the socials, and that was good. Last time, I believe the last part that you would have seen before this is that I haven't said this yet. So I was up and I felt kind of like nauseous after I took my vitamins and had soup. So I went to lay back down because, remnants of the fainting condition are that sometimes I still just feel sick randomly and then I just have to lay down for a bit and then I'm good. I think I just needed to take a little nap, and swallowing a bunch of pills, I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but I know that it's because of that. And I did the best that I could to prevent feeling sick. I had chicken, I had veggies, soup. It was good, but I still needed to lay down. That's okay. So I went and laid down, and I took a little nap, and it turned out to be perfect timing because I woke up once my tea day it was after midnight, so my tea day was happening. So I posted all the things, and then I kind of and it's funny, I wasn't going to record this on camera, but you'll see why I decided to. because I usually would just write this down and then narrate it over a day, but I feel that I need to record myself because it is a monumental occasion that we have. I was laying in bed just thinking sexy things because I'm very horny and I haven't had a cum. Khaleesi, can you plug your ears while I'm talking about this? I haven't had a cum in 6 weeks almost, 6 or 7 weeks. I don't know. It's a lot. And when you haven't come in so long, you kind of just find yourself thinking sexy things sometimes just out of nowhere. And then you're like, cool, great. Wish I could take care of this. But I couldn't because I didn't want to masturbate until, at least 6 weeks to make sure that everything's all good down there and I'm not going to hurt anything. But something was different. I felt like I was getting close, to a usually it's kind of like a plateau where I feel like sexy and it's coming up, and then it drops off out of nowhere, and I'm like, well, okay, that's fair, because I have to feel sexy if I'm gonna masturbate. I'm in my head, I get overstimulated sometimes. The conditions have to be perfect for me to come, which is why I've never come during group sex or at the orgy that I went to. If there's more than one person in the room, I've never come. And usually I just find it easier to come on my own. And this was pre-surgery. So I have different equipment now, I realized, and I have to figure out how this equipment works. And this is one of the things that I wish I had access to trans dudes talking about so that I could have some kind of point of reference of where to even start, because you're just kind of falling without a parachute, going on a trail with no guide. And there's at least one trans dude that I know who talks about sex and stuff like that after his phalloplasty, but it's behind a paywall. So I have not seen it or heard it or anything. So I was just kind of I didn't know what to do. So that's why I'm recording this for future generations. So you just have some kind of reference if you've gone through this. Your equipment's going to work differently too. And it all depends on what you find sexy and how much dysphoria you suffer from. Because I was saying before, I had heard that expect your dysphoria to get worse before it gets better after the surgery. And that's true. Because you just have this dick in your pants that you can't feel at first. And so that's why I didn't wear Packers before. Packers made me feel dysphoric because there was just this dick in my pants that I couldn't feel, and it was rubbing against me and reminding me what my body was like. And I was like, that doesn't feel good. But some dudes like Packers. Some dudes, need it for safety reasons. If you're going out in the world and you want to have a bulge there, all that shit. So that's totally cool. But for me, did not work. So my dysphoria did get a little touch and go for a bit, which is interesting because I really now thinking I think I'm good with what I'm about to share with you. Afterwards, I feel amazing, and I feel much more confident in my body, and I don't think I really have much dysphoria at all. It might just be gone, which is great. And you don't expect it to fully disappear. I'm sure maybe it might come up every once in a while, but what I'm about to share with you, I think I'm good. I feel great. I feel a real connection with my body that I didn't before. And you could probably guess what I'm about to tell you. I've had enough lead up, I've told you enough clues, let's get to it. So I felt like something was different, and I was I've just been lightly rubbing the dick, because I was just kind of, it's just a thing that guys do also. It's people penises, dudes with penises, just kind of laying around, your hand are just gonna be on your penis. It's just gonna be there because it's just a thing that's there, and your hand just automatically kind of just goes to it subconsciously when you're not even thinking about it. So I'll be on the computer and just be touching my dick because I thought of something sexy, or I'll be in bed and I was just kind of rubbing my dick, and something was different where I was really getting into it. I'd been laying there for I want to say an hour on and off, just kind of lazily thinking through my thoughts, touching my dick, thinking through more thoughts turn sexy, touch your dick, just kind of on and off. And I fully expected to just get up and go back on the computer, but it was
I felt something different. I felt like, oh, I could probably get there. I could probably, if I tried and concentrated, I might be able to come. So I did everything possible to like make sure the conditions were good, because I know how I'm able to orgasm pre-surgery. And so I was trying to go off of that. I was trying to stumble around in the familiar to see what we could tackle with this unfamiliar territory that is more comfortable. Because pre-surgery, I could orgasm after I grew my T-dick. I could not orgasm before I grew my T-dick. And the conditions for that was that I would just lay in bed and rub my dick until I came. Because I had about an inch of growth when I was hard, and you could just do that. You could rub it, and then you'll just like come, and then that was it. But now, my T-dick is embedded in the base of my penis, and it was difficult for me to identify because I was feeling it. Like, I was feeling my dick. I was feeling the base of my dick, and I was trying to find my T-dick. And I think it's just because things weren't, I'm not even 6 weeks from surgery, and over the next at least 4 months to a year it could take for all these nerve endings to heal and connect and stuff. But I do have a great heal rate. I'm taking my vitamins and shit. I have the best conditions. I have the best surgeons. So it's not surprising that I'm, getting results a little faster. And I thought, maybe I could do it. So I squeezed a little more on the base of the dick, trying to find the T-dick. And then it made me harder. It's interesting because I can feel, because it's so familiar, right? I know what it feels like when I'm hard. So I could feel that I was hard, even if I couldn't physically feel it with my hands. But then once I squeezed a little tighter, I could feel like something more was happening. And I also was trying to be careful because I'm like, I don't want to hurt myself. But you know what? It's worth it. Like, I didn't, and I was being careful because I didn't want to hurt myself. So I was like trying to find this perfect balance. And it's so tough when you're trying to like get in your head, you're trying to come, but also it's hot, physically, temperature-wise, because you have blankets on you. Maybe I should take those off. Also, don't hurt yourself. Also, keep thinking sexy thoughts or you're going to get soft. It was a balance. It was a juggling act. But I was building up. I could feel it, and it wasn't as... Usually pre-surgery, I would rub my dick, and then I would come, and then it would be it. Like, it would be like a big spike, and then done. But this, I was like trying slowly to build it up because it's unfamiliar territory. And I was just taking 2 fingers and rubbing the top of my dick. Then I was rubbing the base of the dick. Then I realized, what might feel good is if I grab my penis like a cis male jerks off. And I want to say that I didn't think about that. That the way that I phrased that made it think that it was conscious, but it was a subconscious thing where I was just trying different things. I was trying to do things with my eyes closed, and then all of a sudden I was gripping my dick and jerking it like a cis male penis, and it felt really good. And it was like, of course, why don't I try to masturbate like cis males do? Because they have penises. Like, why don't I just try to jerk off my dick like people jerk off dicks? I was more focused on the T-dick that was embedded in the base of the penis, because I know that's where the sensitive zone is, and the rest of the penis I don't have all my feeling in. But if I'm just fucking, it's a bad phrase I've just thought of, which was milking the penis, which is that's a term in the phalloplasty thing where it's like you're trying to coax the urine out of it. That's an actual term that they use. But if you're pumping it, that's a better word. Let's use pumping. Because if I'm just pumping the dick, that makes sense that would feel good. Even if I can't feel the rest of the penis, pumping it, and the act of my hands, the end of it hitting the base of my pelvis, it would recreate what it's like if I was having sex with someone. Because you're pounding on their body and your balls are hitting their body, it makes sense that would arouse me. So I started doing that, and that felt really good. And then I was just like focusing on sexy thoughts, trying to build it up, and it was almost there, and it was good, and it was climbing and climbing. And then,
You know, it took me a while to get there. I had to like kick off some covers and it was too hot in the room. I'm like, focus, dude. We're almost there. Would love if we could just come. It's been weeks. It's been fucking weeks. Can we have an orgasm, please? And I'm almost there. I'm pumping my dick. And then I start instinctually, I'm like feeling with my other hand and I touch my balls and it feels really, really good. And I start like adding, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, cool. We're in the like, it's like you're playing a video game where you're like, okay, we're in the moment. Now I have to figure out what can I do to my balls to make me come? What do you like, buddies? What can we do for you? So I apply pressure. I try tapping it lightly and I'm like kind of like bapping it and that feels good. And I'm like, okay, sure, let's bap it. So I'm pumping my dick, I'm bapping my balls. It like in that moment, it really hits me where it's like, oh, this is different equipment. Yes. Okay. This is a different instrument we're playing. This instrument requires 2 hands and it requires a bopping and a twisting and a pulling. So I'm bapping my balls, I'm applying pressure, I'm pumping the bass and I come. And I'm like, yes! And it's a long, slow orgasm. Just me trying to milk out the most of this orgasm that I can. Because I'm like, we finally hit the peak. I have to make sure that I come as hard as I can right now. Because I don't know when the next time is that we're gonna be able to come. So get it all out now, please. And I do, and it's great. And I lay there afterwards, and I'm like, I just feel so masculine. I feel so connected to my body. And I'm just like, okay, I think I'm good. I think no more dysphoria. I think it's kind of impossible for me to feel dysphoria after that. Because it's an interesting mismatch of things. Where I feel a lot of trans men feel dysphoria because they are not in a cis male body. And I think the more that we connect our bodies to cis male bodies, the more unhappy we're going to be. Because I am never going to have a cis male body that I was born in. My dick might look the same as a cis male dick once we're done tattooing and once we're done with glansplasty and scrotal implants and all that. But it is fundamentally different. And I might be able to orgasm in the same way that a cis male can. But if I want to be cis, I'm not going to be happy. And I think we kind of build this reliance and this goal of being cis male as the ultimate goal. Of we're like, okay, if I have this surgery, then I will be one step closer to being cis male and all this stuff. And for me personally, I had to realize like, yeah, okay, I'm never going to be cis male in the traditional sense. And that's okay. I want to know what my body looks like. I want to know how I can feel in order to make myself happy. And I think that's why I was so accepting of my arm and my leg graft and how I'm not, they don't make me feel uncomfortable at all. And they actually make me feel good and proud, is because I'm not transitioning to cis male. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I might, identify more with a cis male label or whatever, but like I took steps to get there. I'm not, I mean that in the sense of like, sometimes I forget that I'm trans, and it makes me feel like a fake trans person where I don't really feel dysphoria and I don't really feel, I don't get persecuted on the streets. I pass. No one would know that I'm trans unless I tell them. So it makes me feel like a fake trans person. So although I might relate more to cis men sometimes, I also relate to trans men sometimes. I don't know. I'm kind of this weird combination. Because it's also like, I just talked about how when I was in a female form, I was sick all the time. I was miserable all the time. So that's why like transphobes aren't really able to get a rise out of me, or like they can't really hurt my feelings if they're just like, you're a girl, you've always been a girl, stuff like that. I never related to that body. So they're trying to draw upon previous experiences that I was so miserable and suicidal in, like forever. And once I transitioned, it wasn't just transitioning to male, it was transitioning to a healthy body. So there's literally nothing in it. Like that's the thing of before. When I went to transition, I was trying to decide if I should, and I asked myself, well, is there anything anyone could say or do to you that would be worse than how you're feeling right now? And the answer was no, obviously. And I was like, well, okay then that's the answer. So they're trying to, like, transphobes can't really make me feel bad because it's a silly thing that they're trying to do. Because they're like, don't you miss that form where you were sick and suicidal and miserable all the time and you did not want to exist because you were just bedridden all the time? It's like, no, I don't miss that at all. And it was so traumatic that being in this healthy body, I don't really remember my female life anymore. And that's such a weird thing, Because seeing trans men out and proud and stuff like that, like I always kind of thought they were faking it a little bit. I thought that they were like, kind of like a fake it till you make it thing where it's like, I don't want to look weak as a transphobe, so I just have to pretend to be happy and not affected by them all the time. But now that I'm actually here, I realize like, oh no, they're just happy. Like, we're just happy. We're just not affected by it. And some guys might be affected by transphobes, and that's totally like, perfectly valid. People have feelings and all that. But for me, it's just such a matter of, I just have no feelings for bad shit. I got dick and balls, and I just came at 1:30 in the morning on my T-Day for the first time in this body that I feel comfortable and happy in. And like, I feel like this is it. This is the step. This is the moment where I was like, I don't feel dysphoria, and I don't think I ever will again, which is really dope, and I did not think could happen. I didn't think it was possible. I thought there has to be some dysphoria. There's none. I tried on purpose to feel dysphoria just to see if I still could, and nothing is happening. And it's funny that was the piece that was missing. Me coming was the piece that was missing. Because I think it's one thing to like have a male form, but like sex is such a big part of my life. I love making people feel good. I love coming now that I've been able to, because I wasn't able to orgasm pre-transition. This is a part of my life that is distinctly associated with me being in the male form. It's only associated with it because this part of me didn't exist before. So it's one thing to look male with a penis and balls like I do, and a buff chest and a like hair, all the things that make me traditionally and culturally masculine, being able to work out, a deep voice, all that shit, which they shouldn't be just associated with masculinity. Let me put that out there. It's just that I was raised in a culture where my brain it associates that stuff with masculinity, so it makes me feel happy and safe in order to experience them. But moving on, being able to come in this body, now it feels complete. Now it feels like the transformation is like, all right, you're here. You've reached it. You've reached gender euphoria. It feels like a puzzle piece has been placed or something. And I don't want to give the impression that like, oh, all you have to do is physically transition and then you'll never be sad again. That happened with me. You might still feel dysphoria. And it's totally fine if you do. There are ways to get out of it. There are ways, not everyone is perfect. Not everyone is comfortable 100% of the time in their body. And I'm very happy and grateful that I got there. But it's not gonna happen with everyone, and that's perfectly okay. As long as we're giving it our best shot to be as happy as we can, then that's all we can do. And let me tell you, you will feel so fucking good. Like, you will, no matter what the amount of dysphoria it is that you feel, it's way better than it was before, let me tell you. And it only gets better. If you're comparing, not even just me, but like other trans people, if they are comparing how they felt a year ago to where they are now, if they took steps to like, if they need to physically transition and they took steps for that, or mentally or socially transition, they took steps for that, they feel way better than they were a year ago. So of course, mathematically, I'm a dumbass himbo and I can't the logic part of my brain is shut down. But logically speaking, if you just keep making little improvements every year, your results are going to happen. You're gonna feel better than you were a year ago. But yeah, I've gone on a little rant. What a lovely development. What a lovely thing that I did not know could ever happen. And it's happened. I don't feel dysphoria anymore. And this might change, Maybe I'll just feel it every once in a while or whatever, but I have this feeling deep in my gut where I'm like, no, I think we're good. And it makes sense because we were almost there. Before tonight, I didn't really feel dysphoria all that often at all. It was just like a happening thing that kind of popped up if there was something I didn't like about my body, for example. But now if I look in the mirror and I look at my body, I'm like, oh, I don't give a shit. I can come. I can make other people come. And that's where confidence comes from. It doesn't come from liking everything about yourself. it's loving yourself so much that the other shit doesn't matter at all, and you don't even think about it because you're like, who cares? You know, I'm good. I'm a lovable human being. People want to be around me. I'm in a stage of my life where everyone wants to fuck me or be me. So how could I possibly feel bad about anything, really? Yeah, things stress me out, but like, I think we're good. I think we're good, bud. I don't think we're gonna feel bad about dumb shit again. Anyway, I went to pee afterwards, and I was like, well, the other times there's been a couple moments where I was thinking sexy things, and then cum came out into the toilet. So of course, I just came. Like, there's gonna be a lot of cum. And I went to pee, and there was no cum. Which is interesting. No cum. And I waited, and I what is it called? Dabbing the dick? I don't know, I shook it. I shook that penis. No cum was coming out. And a weird thing that happened was that, like, the fistula, there was some pee coming out of it, and it was the most pee that's come out of it in a while, but it was not a stream, if that makes sense. It wasn't like gushing. It was literally just tiny drops, but the tiny drops kept happening, and I realized it was because my body has been moving and shifting and stuff, so things were shaking around. So I was standing there, and pee was still dripping down my leg. But it's not a cause for alarm or anything like that. Like, if you feel it, like the fistula, my taint is basically 100% all sealed up. It's just that, like, your body is moving. Like, I was, if you're jerking it and you're lying on your bed, you're gonna be thrusted, and there's some things that are gonna be moving. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I think this is the most that I've described sex on this channel. Like, ever, maybe? But yeah, I wanted to talk about it because it's information that I needed to know. And if you're not Treya, then you're just hanging out for the story time and hanging out for the ride. I could have used a word other than ride. It's my tea day. I'm really happy I got an orgasm for my tea day. This is the best fucking present anyone's gonna get me all day.
There's barely anything on the ABD pad, but I keep wearing it just to be sure. If anything, it'll help to separate it so there's no skin-on-skin contact. It seems as though I found the new source of urine from my fistula, which is a hole in it that it's more near my butthole. I guess it must be there, but with the front fistula closure happening, it's closing up in that hole, more urine is escaping from the smaller hole in the back of it. That's why when the last time I peed, I thought it was getting everywhere. I was putting tissue where the urine usually leaks out. I didn't know there was another hole. It's been hard to tell its progress. Like, a watched pot never boils, which I say a bunch, but, I was on drugs when I wrote these things. And I keep looking at it, but the right side of my body, where the incision was, is indeed getting smaller and shifting back to normal size. I just got the very intense urge to work out. I realized that I probably shouldn't partake of pre-workout for a while, since caffeine dries you out, and having water in me is good for my arm, which should be fine, since pre-workout usually keeps me energized for the hours I'm doing it, and I'll be taking it easy in the beginning. I want to jerk off again. I knew I had more in the tank. Sometimes you'll come and say, I can do it again if I give myself some time. I watched porn, was cranking it, then didn't feel like trying again. The less I jerk it, the more time I get to heal. Plus, it just felt nice to jerk off and not come, which is that was a surprise. I felt something wet, and I realized cum was dripping from it. The last few hours, I've smelled noticeably bad. I shower and take a Tylenol. Afterwards, I still smell bad. It might be the fistula, it might be the room. I spent a lot of weeks here in my house smelling bad, so maybe just from just leftover my house is healing from me just sitting here and smelling like a smelly boy. I light some candles. Cooking in the kitchen, the smell has followed me, so that confirms that it's me. A little paranoid that something happened, but I check myself top to bottom and nothing's wrong. Nothing's even leaking on the puppy pad. A few hours later, I go to the bathroom and there's a little liquid leaking from my penis. On a whim, I smell it, and it smells exactly like the bad smell that's been driving me crazy the last few hours. Okay, good. It's not the fistula, and it's not my balls. I don't know why it's decided to do this cool new thing, but at least I don't have to worry that anything ripped off or anything. But now the fistula seems to be leaking a full minute after I've wiped everything and I'm ready to put my underwear back on.
Please stop that. I don't like that. Whenever I think it's done, I let my guard down and try to put my underwear on, and it leaks onto the floor. I've had to clean it up with a paper towel. Yeah, this is present Jesse talking, just saying that, like, yeah, it was just recovery fluid. So my body was getting rid of, like, the bad smelling fluid, which was being created because my body was healing. So, you know, if I ejaculate, you know, my cum is going to absorb the other liquid in there. So, you know, this is not me as a doctor talking. This is me being like, oh, that explains why my cum was the way that it was in the beginning stages. Right now I am Jesse months after this. And yeah, that makes sense. Let's let's continue. And it's good to know my cum gets great. It does not, it was just, it fully just happens because this is the healing process. And then once the healing process is done, it's all good. Back to the past. A bunch of my stitches are very close to coming off. There are some hanging by a literal thread of stitch, and I leave them alone because what have we learned? What have we, you know? I keep getting so paranoid that the new smell is something bad, but there's nothing new happening with my body. Not only that, the ABD pad has been spotless since I put it on after my shower. The papers on what to expect did say smells just happen, so I just gotta relax and react if something changes. Maybe there was a bunch of bad smell or other liquid in my body where my cum is stored, so me coming unleashed it. I am not a scientist or biologist or rocket scientist or cum scientist. Present Jesse talking. Yeah, that makes sense. Past Jesse was figuring it out. Okay, back to the past. My hand is a lot less sore once I've done PT twice. I notice that there's a folded up tissue I had kept on the head of my dick to stop it from leaking in my underwear. And when I go to throw it away, the bad smell that's been bugging me is extremely prominent on it. It's definitely coming from my dick. The smell is still driving me crazy. It would not bother me at all if I was 100% sure nothing is wrong, and I'm only 99% sure. Anxiety's dumb. Relax, dude. You've checked everything and nothing is wrong. They told you things are just gonna smell. There's a bit of fluid on the ABD pad now that looks like urine, so it must be that stinks. I do PT 4 times. I am paranoid I ripped my fistula because I have no other explanation for why the urine situation has changed. When I pee, urine continues to drip from my taint. The smell must be my urine, and it might be more prominent because urine keeps leaking from it more than it was before. I'm disheartened and decide to go to sleep. The thing about me being sad or angry or frustrated with the dosage of tea that I'm on and how my hormones have stabilized is that I'm very sad for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and then I'm completely over it. It healed once. I think it can heal again. Sleep is the best medicine for it now. That's where healing is done. I pee hours later. A little bit of blood when I dab the fistula. The issue with extra leakage happens, but not as much. When I woke up before I went to pee, my arm hurt. I take a Tylenol. When I get up hours later and pee, there's a little bit of blood on the ABD pad, and I'm a little more convinced that I've injured my fistula. It sucks, but I would have injured it a few days from now anyway, since it was going to be 6 weeks in surgery, and I couldn't have predicted that I'd have such a good organ it would injure it. No need to beat myself up. We just need to wait, and it should heal, right? It sucks because I want to track the progress of it healing, but in order to do that, I need to stand to pee, and I get little drips of urine on the floor. The best solution is to sit to pee and just check it once a day. That way it also doesn't have the watching a pot effect, where I'm seeing it every day, and it's tough to tell if it's actually healing or not. It's the best for my anxiety. As fucked up as it sounds, Jesse, at least you did it 2 days before you were planning, and now you have 2 more days to heal. Coming also gave me peace of mind and a relief of tension. With that, I can face this inconvenience. It's okay. Everything will be all right. We just need to exchange time for progress. Nothing we can do about it. We just need to accept the situation and give ourselves patience. There's also a little bit of blood on the gauze I put between my penis and ballsack. Interesting. I can smell that smell when I'm sitting. It's the urine sinking into the ABD pad, maybe, or the fluid. I don't know. I don't know whether to order more. I guess I should. Transition is great at getting you used to the fact that one day this will all be a distant memory. A month from now, everything's gonna be great, and I will think back on how silly it was that I was anxious about it. And thinking about it, this doesn't really inconvenience anything. It's just going to be a little annoying for a bit. Worst case, we can repair it with another surgery. Best case, I work from home and I just need to buy more ABD pads and keep changing them every time I pee. Maybe sitting on a puppy pad until I dry, then putting on the ABD pad would be the move, since I have so many of them. Yeah, it sucks. Let yourself be sad for a little bit, but then get up because it won't do anything but hurt yourself. There's so much joy in this world, and I won't waste time feeling sorry for myself if there's nothing I can do to speed it along. In fact, getting back to life will speed it along. Time passes faster when you're having a good time, one of the great tragedies of life. And you'll also heal easier if you're happy and pumping good hormones and energy all and through your body and the blah 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 and all that bullshit. That's actually pretty true. I put one of my last small ABD pads on to see which size I should order. It sucks that I have to spend the last hour of my tea day like this, but you know what? It's my fucking tea day. I've been on tea for 3 years and I'm so grateful for it. Let's fucking chill. Jesse of 3.5 years ago wanted nothing more than to not exist anymore. And here we are living with our cat in an apartment, and we have our dream body, and we need to show it a little love. We're capable of cum. We're capable of anything. Everything is relative. I am able to exist here in this space away from people. I'm able to heal in peace. Get some perspective, bud. Everything's okay. This is the best place for you. I don't mean to say this to imply feelings aren't valid, but sometimes we just get so wrapped up in our own situation, we don't realize how lucky we are and how good things actually are. I take my vitamins and feel like shit. I go lay down. Interesting that this is the second day in a row this has happened. I'm feeling horned, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's jerk off again. It's what lifts my mood usually, and I need it. Because now I can see if I did anything to hurt the fistula. From what I see, I think I just wasn't paying attention before and didn't think there was a concern. It must have just been a freak thing. I don't know if I caused it or not. Jerking off, we have a kind of success, but most importantly, I look on the bed and there's no blood or urine or anything. There also hasn't been any blood on the gauze I put between my penis and ballsack this morning. I'm healing. It's not a thing that's gotten worse. It's just gonna suck for a little bit. I'm feeling a lot better after my nap. I'm healing amazingly. There's nothing wrong with my dick or my balls or my arm or my leg graft, and in fact, they're all doing exceptionally well. The fistula will heal on its own. Just gotta give it time. Day 41. I had a train of thought where I was trying to figure out if I'm imagining things and I actually didn't hurt my fistula at all. I tried to remember exactly what it was like a day ago. I realized whether I heard it or not, it's really not that bad. It's not producing more pee. The stream hasn't increased in volume. It's just leaking some after I'm done going to the bathroom. It doesn't hurt. Could be worse. I realized that this technically means that I'm 3 for 3 when it comes to accidentally injuring myself after surgery while trying to get back to life too quickly. But I don't think this one counts because I was 2 days away from getting cleared to masturbate, and I didn't hurt my dick or balls masturbating, and I also don't even know for sure if I did anything or not, so could just be a coincidence. I don't know, you can't expect a himbo to not accidentally hurt ourselves. We're trying our best. We just don't have a lot of brain logic. Just give us a cookie for doing our best and be thankful we didn't set anything on fire. Everyone has COVID, and I'm kind of frustrated seeing cons are still going on. MagFest was this weekend, and knowing my friends are in the high volume of people and might get sick makes me scared and sad. I also see people on Instagram going out to bars and they're not wearing their masks. I know they probably just took off the masks to, take the picture or whatever. They're maybe keeping them off because maybe they're only near friends. Friends who were there. I don't know. What if you run into someone though? Like, I know if you're in a bar, you're going to take off your mask if you're around the people you trust. But what if you have to go to the bathroom? What if you move for like a second and boom, that's where you get it? It's all scary and frustrating.
I ordered food in earlier tonight because I was anxious about my fistula and didn't want to think about cooking my first meal. And the guy rang my doorbell and wouldn't just leave the food, but he wasn't wearing a mask, so I wore mine and took it from him, but I'm pissed. I get if you want to make sure I get the food, but in that case, wear a mask. Just wear a mask to see me. We're still in a global pandemic, and I have the thing that says just drop it off. You know, when the Grubhub, there's an option for that. I say, hey, just drop off food, please. I get if you want to, I don't know. I get that you want to make sure I get the food, but just wear the mask. Otherwise, you're making everyone upset and anxious, and I left you that tip because I thought you would leave the food like I asked you to. Please, sir. I have anxiety, and there's a panorama going on. And it's tough because the people who went to the con, they got their plane tickets and planned the hotels and shit months ago, you know, like, or a year ago sometimes. Some are vendors, you know, and rely on it for their job. I don't blame them. It's just such a sucky situation. There's no good solution. Maryland declared a state of emergency on the Wednesday before the con. It's like really, really bad there. And there's a convention, like it's already bad that the bad situation is happening in Maryland. And then on top of that, you add the con. I don't know, it all sucks so hard. I'm thankful I decided not to do any cons until everything's for sure safe. I wish I could keep everyone safe. I go to pee and check my underwear. There's no stains or anything, which means it's okay to wear the smaller ABD pad. I sit to pee and my taint hurts a lot. It must be healing. The pressure from the ABD pad was not helping. I decide to sit on the toilet for an extra 5 minutes. That should let the excess urine drain so I don't have it leaking on the pad. I will edit and write my show and watch horror stuff like I've been doing the last few days. I will not be stagnant. I will rest when I need to, and when I'm not, I will be productive. I will turn this pain into art as I have my whole life. That's what I've done my entire life. My whole life has been just a lot of pain, and I've just turned it into things that will help people. That's how I do it. That's how I process. My fistula is fine with leakage. I'm able to dab it dry with no extra feeling out. What did I mean by this? My fistula is fine with leakage. I'm able to dab it dry with no extra feeling out. Feeling it? With no extra... Well, let's keep going. But my dick leaks cum for a good 2 minutes after I stand up. It's a lot of cum for me. Very cool, but annoying when I'm trying to stop it from falling in my underwear and failing. I organized my pills for the week, adding the fruit and veggie pills as well as Thrive 6 mushroom pills that I usually put in my protein shake after I work out. I'm pulling out all the stops. Let's put all the Healy pills in my body. I'm done fucking around. Let's put this fucking injury in the ground. I can't do anything about some things, so let's do something about the things I can do something about. I make a protein shake. I watch a show. I do some writing. I'm used to being able to lift something heavy to make myself feel better, feel stronger. I notice one of the scabs on my arm has fallen off, leaving a beautiful scar underneath that's perfect for healing. Man, imagine that. You just let your body heal and don't rush it, and it turns out great and much better than, you know, if you fucked it up. It's a nice reminder that I'm on the right path, that I just need to let my body heal. I go to pee and spend an extra 5 minutes sitting on the toilet, let as much leak out as possible. I distract myself with Instagram. My dick is still leaking cum when I stand up, but not a ton. It's not fair I'm still healing. I just want to jerk off all the time. I want to play around, figure out how my new equipment works. I know I'll have plenty of time for it once I'm all better, but... God, I am so happy. Sometimes you just gotta remember who the fuck you are. Who cares if I'm inconvenienced by one small thing that needs time to heal? I have a dick and balls, and my arm is healing great, and my leg is healing great, and the swelling is going down on my incision, and I'm happy. I'm so fucking happy and lucky. I'm working on scripts for a show that's gonna help people and make them laugh and cry and think and feel seen. That's all I want to do with my life, and I get to do it. When I go to take a shower, there's basically no real marks on the ABD pad, the only marks looking like urine. Sitting on puppy pad after my shower, basically nothing on it. A hard little ball of stitch that was on the underside of the head of my dick also fell off in my hand as I was sitting down, which is great because I was wondering when it would dissolve. Still teensy little stitch on it. I have a thought and realize I should try on some of my regular underwear rather than Seprotec or Sax to make sure my penis fits. I try on a pair of PSD, and it's clear that my dick is not going to fit. I try on another. I'd been prepared for this for years, knowing I'd have surgery eventually, so like, this is it. Okay, let's put on a podcast and try on every pair of underwear I own and see what the damage is. I'm frustrated because some I can wear, but I can't sit down in them. Some I got less than 3 months ago, which is my bad. I shouldn't have gotten underwear so close to surgery. Okay, final tally. I can't wear 80% of it. I am distraught. I have memories with these undies. It is a point of pride for me that my underwear game is cute and on point, and now I'll only be able to wear what Sax and Seprotec can provide. Sax seems to have fun patterns, but it seems Seprotec is just a lot of solid colors. Not a terrible problem to have, I know, but it's like I'm ripping off parts of my soul. I really give a shit about these fuckers. I talk about it on Instagram, and someone suggests I make one of those memory quilts out of them, and I think that'd just be more sad seeing them and remembering I'll never get to wear them again. And also, listen, I know, I see you pervs. I see you little goblins, you fucking freaks on Instagram. You liking my half naked selfies, being like, oh, why don't you wear a blanket of your underwear? I'm just kidding, but yeah, I don't think I could do that. I'm having similar feelings to coming out. Funny enough, like memories and love and good times spent with these underwear, and now they're like, sorry, we just don't fit your penis. And I'm like, well, then I'll find underwear that does. It's just, we don't support the lifestyle. You understand. My taint hurts by the time I'm done, because I've just been putting underwear on and off, not wearing a pad, having to sit down and stand up to test the undies. Yeah, that tracks. I can't feel it fully yet, but I don't want to scrunch it up. my penis scrunch up, I'm always working it. Oh, well, I don't know. I say I can't feel it fully yet, but don't want to scrunch it up. I assume I'm talking about the whole situation, actually. The taint, the dick, the balls, all of it. I'm always working at my computer anyway, so it doesn't matter if I can stand wearing them. I gotta be able to sit, too. I search for underwear that's good for guys with big dicks. I learn about different pouch underwear. There's a company called Shinesty that has cute options. They're more expensive. One pair is like $25, but it's good to know there are options. They gave me a code for $10, so okay, I'll try them once. I go to make a smoothie, and I turn the base to the left, and my himbo brain doesn't understand that I've just unlocked the blender, and smoothie spills absolutely everywhere. In the drawers that hold my silverware, under the fridge, on the floor, it's everywhere. I'm a little mad for 5 seconds, and then I get to work cleaning it up. Thank you, T. I would have thrown a fit years ago. Like, pre-testosterone, I would have just screamed and cried and just not been able to handle it. And now I just do something massively fucked up, and I wait 5 seconds. I'm mad for like 5 seconds, and then I'm like, okay, time to clean it up. Thank fuck. Time passes, and I've gone to bed. I wake up and take my first pee of the day, standing up to see if I've improved at all. Fistula leaks as usual, but it doesn't leak for a ridiculously long time now. Hopefully that's a more permanent thing and not just a result of it being the first pee of the day. It would make sense. There's way more pee in the first pee of the day, so it's fine for it to be annoying right now. Rubbing my leg skin graft with lotion a few times a day is not only good for it, but I realized it just gives you a moment to touch it, which is just what it wants sometimes. Feels real good to just rub some lotion in there. We all just want to be held sometimes, maybe. I get it. This pandemic is, we just want to be touched. After I pee first thing in the morning, sometimes 5 minutes later, I feel like I have to pee again. And that's, new since I've gotten a penis. I wonder if I'm just not getting all the pee out, even if I think I am, because my bladder is still waking up. But whatever it is, that is a change that I did not have pre-penis. Day 42. I go to pee and find dried blood on myself, wondering if my dick or ball stitches are bleeding, but I quickly see that it's my stitches from the vaginectomy bleeding again.
The side one on the right, my right. Very interesting. I wonder when that stops. Everything's still tightly stitched up, so nothing we can do but wait. I clean it with soap and water, waiting to see if it bleeds again, and see a little scab has formed where it must have bled from. Thank you, body. Looking out for me. The fistula isn't really doing any extra dripping after I pee, which is interesting because there's some of the same stuff on the ABD pad when I took it off before I went. We'll change it and we'll see how it goes. A medium-sized piece of scab stitching just fell off my arm. I'm so happy. My arm's starting to feel like my own again. I can't wait to see what it looks like when all the stitching is gone and it's just skin and scars. I can start working on it then, rubbing shit on it. If I could guess, it'll take at least a year to smooth things out how I'd like, but I'm so grateful it looks so good already. Even if it didn't, I'd love it. So it's just a bonus that it's so aesthetically pleasing to me. I'm happy when I can I'll be happy when I can actively do something to help. I don't really notice the hair on my penis, which is why I haven't mentioned it much. It must be because I got so much electrolysis done on it beforehand, I'll probably get some more done on it before I get it tattooed, but it probably won't take that much, because I did some work ahead of time. My skin condition, the red bumps that are on my arm, the things that I was like, oh, I wonder, because they're taking the skin from my arm to make my penis, are they going to be on my penis? And they are not. I have no explanation. I don't know why or how. And I only thought about it just now. I thought about it in the past, and then all the surgery and everything got me caught up in all that stuff, and I forgot about it. But now I am updating you on that. When I pee, cum leaks out, so I realize that sometimes it just takes a little bit for it to leave. I walk to the store, and I tape large ABD pad. I tape a large ABD pad in my boxer briefs, this time with medical tape instead of paper tape. I forget that I'm in recovery most of the time, which feels great. I didn't wrap my arm. I've got 2 layers, a coat and a long sleeve shirt. When I'm 10 minutes away from home, I feel like the ABD pad might not be stuck to where it's supposed to anymore. Which, nothing I can do, I can't do anything about that until I'm home. 5 minutes from home, I definitely feel like it's bunched up at the bottom of my boxers. When I get back, I see that the ABD pad has indeed fallen loose. Paper tape held it better than medical tape? Or maybe I was just walking faster this time because I'm stronger now. I take a Tylenol for my balls and dick that are hurting. I could feel them getting sore on my walk home. I'm still healing. After a shower, my taint hurts more than usual. Whenever I need to check it out, I record a video of it. Technology is much more reliable than trying to shove a mirror under there and figure out what's going on. I see some white stuff, and at first I think it's some kind of pus coming out of me, but then I realize then that it's just soap from my shower. I wipe it off, and just it's suds on the tissue. I get back in the tub, fill a cup with water from it, and pour it down my taint, from the back like 3 times. I'm always careful to rinse it the best I can in the shower after I'm done washing it, but maybe I haven't actually been hitting it like I thought. It's tough when you can't feel it. There's an ulcer in my mouth, and I wasn't going to mention it because it just started tiny this morning, but it's been getting more intense. No marks on the puppy pad. An hour later, yeah. I get an email from the Crane Center that says, I wanted to follow up and see if you were ready to schedule the next step in your surgical journey. Do you have any scheduling restrictions I need to be aware of? I'm so stoked. I told them I don't have any restrictions, so I'm free the next day they have available. I realize it's officially 6 weeks since surgery, so that must confirm the theory I had a few days ago. My mom had asked me when I need, then the theory I'm talking about is that they were gonna call and be like, all right, it's been 6 weeks since surgery, time to schedule your next step. But anyway, continuing. My mom had asked me when I need to check in with them next, and I was thinking that they can't just leave you hanging, so I figured they would check in on me once I hit 6 weeks. I was correct. Someone give me a medal. Okay, well, I'm very excited to get to stage 2 and have it done as soon as possible, but it's the new year, which means my insurance has hit reset on the deductibles, and I'm going to need to hit $5,000 before everything else gets covered. I've only just been making rent each month with enough extra for electricity, internet, water, and all the other essentials. I've been saving as much as I can, and now a timer has officially started. I won't think about that now. Let's focus on getting healthy and strong. I've got at least 7.5 months anyway, if they can get me in that soon. I do PT 3 times today. I dropped the ball. We'll do better tomorrow. I go to the bathroom one last time before bed and see a little spot of dried blood in my boxers. The stitch has bled again. I take them off, hit the spot with hydrogen peroxide, and rub that bad boy out. At least I can rub some kind of bad boy out, you know what I'm saying? I was talking about masturbation, but that also sounds like giving someone a hand job. I'm so horny at this point in the story, it doesn't really matter. I'm washing my underwear and I'm like, hey, could you stop bleeding blood? I guess I'm so horny that the blood is not going to my brain, it's going to my penis. I'm going to start that sentence again. Hey, could you stop bleeding, bud? That'd be great. Thank you, we did it. Whew. I wonder if I fucked it up by rubbing it with CBD salve for 3 days in a row back when it was first healing and I didn't know better, but I know that I'm 6 weeks post-op now and I'm sure that's not it. Or maybe it is, I don't know. I was falling asleep when I realized, oh yeah, duh, my stitch opened up because when I jerk off, that's the exact spot where my right hand hits against my body. And I remember thinking that I need to be careful and that I wasn't careful. So of course the exact spots where I'm hitting it is going to spring a leak. Yeah, my bad, body. That is on me. I woke up from a bad dream where I'd lost my insurance and then couldn't schedule stage 2 surgery, but I've learned my nightmares don't really exist because of things I'm actually scared of anymore. I had this period of 2 years where I'd have nightmares about my abuser every night. I dreamed that we were friends, that nothing was wrong. He'd just appear and interact like everything was okay. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, and it'd obviously be really upsetting. As I got over my trauma, the dreams changed, where he'd appear, but he'd beg me to take him back and forgive him. I'd know he was the villain in them, but I'd take him back. So they were so upsetting when I woke up. Now I don't really dream about him as much, and that's good. My dreams have changed to protect me. They know I still have anxiety, so they make me stressed about some stupid shit, sometimes in my dream, so that when I wake up, I'm very grateful to be awake and also not have whatever problem I had in the dream. I know that nightmare insurance scenario can't happen, that multiple massively terrible things would have to happen in real life in order for me to lose my insurance. So now I feel prepared for the day. I wake up and go sit to pee. I don't need a test to see what the fistula is doing. After sitting for a bit till all the pee drains out, I get up and see if there's blood in the toilet. I dab the fistula, no blood. I dab my penis, no blood. I wipe my butt, and there's blood. Okay, sometimes it just happens, like you just take a big or particularly hard shit, but I suspected something else, dabbing the spot where my ass meets the fistula. And that's where the blood was coming from. Again, must be healing. I dry off and put my ABD pad back around my balls and pull up my underwear. When I walk to go lay back down, my underwear soaked where my butt is. I must have sweat so much during sleep. This has been a normal thing since physical transmission. I said autocorrect made it transmission. You know what I'm trying to say. This has been a normal thing since physical transition. Guys get sweatier, and I've got plenty of hair in and around my ass to make this worse. I love it. Very cool. I'm not being sarcastic. I love having ass hair. I put on a dry pair of underwear. Day 43. When I go to pee, there's blood on the ABD pad behind my balls. I'm assuming the fistula is doing something. I'm not worried that in the past 24 hours there's been blood found in 2 different spots on it. I don't know if I should be concerned. I'm just going to let myself heal. That's all I can do. I just keep feeling like shit after I take my vitamins. I go lay down. It also might be because I cooked chicken pad thai and the peanut sauce I got turned out to be too spicy, but now there's a whole plate of it, so you gotta try to eat as much as possible for the principle of the thing. I made this. I don't cook. I made this whole thing. I gotta try it. But it was just too spicy for me, and I eventually had to stop due to pain. I am a bad Mexican, I know. After I get up, I poop, and my fistula hurts. Every time I peed today, I've been noticing a bit of blood when I dab it dry, as well as a little dried blood on the ABD pad. Hasn't been as much as when I first woke up, though. I take a video of my undercarriage and see that the fistula had been bleeding in the 2 spots I thought it was, near my butt and at the front. And the one at the front is actually my ballsack bleeding on its incision line. There might be 3 spots total that I'm bleeding. It's tough to tell with the camera not that great at focusing, The back of the ballsack stopped bleeding. That sounds like a great tongue twister. The back of the ballsack stopped bleeding. The back of the ballsack stopped bleeding. The back of the ballsack stopped bleeding. I can tell because the ABD pad has nothing on it now. I've been experiencing some pain from the problem areas and the right side suture. I take a Tylenol. After my shower, the right incision bleeds a little and hurts. My arm hurts too. I washed it and some scab came off. My right incision still hurts. I touch my leg skin graft and realize I'm going to need another when I get glandsplasty. It was one of the worst pains for me, the itchiness that wouldn't stop until it turned to pain. Present Jesse here to interject and say, don't worry, past Jesse, when you get glandsplasty, they take just a little piece of skin and it does not create what it's. I'm not a doctor. I can't explain to you the difference. It's not going to be like your leg. Don't worry. Wish I could have told him. Yeah, he's going to be fine. Anyway, continuing. I stand up to go to the bathroom and pee, and there's nothing on the puppy pad that I've been sitting on after my shower. Once I sit to pee and let the excess drain off, I pat my taint dry, and there's the teensiest remnants of blood. But other than that, nothing bad. My right incision looks like it's still bleeding a little, and dabbing confirms it. Dabbing it confirms it. Yeah, I just dabbed. I got in the dabbing position like the kids do. That's what they mean when they say assume the position. It's dabbing, right? What a Poggers Gamer moment. I pee later and there's blood where the fistula is close to my ass. I don't know why I have to say it like that. This is just you're reading a diary entry. You can just read it. Come on. I pee later and there's blood where the fistula is close to my ass. That doesn't sound normal either. Okay. I pee later and there's blood where the fistula is close to my ass. Now it sounds like I'm introducing a video. I don't like any of these deliveries. The fistula is close to my ass and it's bleeding. There you go. I'm glad there's not more, but bleh. I stayed up and it's almost 7 p.m., so I think I've set my sleep schedule to a new kind of fucked up. Not sure if it's better than being totally nocturnal or not. I do PT 4 times. My dick and balls are sore as fuck. They're so sore. I go to pee and it's the same dabbing situation as last time. My dick and balls are still so sore. Walking hurts and I'm glad when I finally lay down. I bring my water and Advil over to my nightstand in case I need to take some. Very glad that they're sore though. I'm feeling them a lot. I just ordered some Saks boxer briefs and I'm debating which Seprotec ones to get. I'm replacing an entire collection of underwear, full of years of memories and history, and this is also the main thing that I wear nowadays due to not leaving the house because of Corona. I want to feel cute in them. There are color choices to make. I'll wait to order Seprotec until I can wear them for a bit without the ABD pad. I don't know if I dig them or not, Khaleesi somehow sneaks into my room, and she's so sleepy and cuddly, I let her stay. I'll just keep my arm under the covers and make sure she doesn't step on my balls or dick. They're sore enough. Day 44. I wake up and she's still curled up next to me. It feels really nice. I missed it. I'm still mourning my underwear collection, and I have a thought, rushing over to my swimsuits. Will they fit me, or do I have to get new one of those also? I try on my running shorts, which are made by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs is the name of the company, and have underwear built in, and they actually fit amazingly. There's plenty of space in them for my dick when I run, as well as when I sit down in my computer chair. As long as it's comfortable for it to be slapping against my balls, I should have no problem running in them. I try on the swimsuits, and they're fine as well. Plenty of room. Thank God. There's still some blood on the ABD pad, and I decide to stand to pee because I have a weird feeling that things are going to be better, and they kind of are. The fistula doesn't leak as much.
There's a teensy bit of blood in the area from yesterday, but other than that, it just leaks a teensy bit when I'm done peeing. My dick leaks pee for about a minute or two after I'm done going, which is annoying, but they warned me about that. Cis men apparently have to deal with that as well, as every time I talked about it on Twitter, every cis dude was like, yeah, it sucks. It makes sense that the bigger your dick is, the longer you have to wait for pee to drain out, because the longer your urethra is, and boy, do I have a doozy. I'm not even that big, just bigger than, I'm a shower. That's what I'm meaning to say, you know. I noticed tiny baby hair is growing out of my donor arm. Yes, good, grow, my children. And by that I mean the place where the donor skin. It's growing hair. Little baby hairs. Very cool. I finish editing the stage 1 episode of PinkBlue and start rendering it for patrons. I get an email that my stage 2 surgery is scheduled for August 2nd and for me to confirm the date with them, which I do immediately. Holy shit. It takes a minute to sink in, but I can't stop smiling once I start. Stage 2 on August 2. 2-1-2. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love when numbers match up. I'm so motivated. Fuck yeah. I was anxious about dumb shit for a bit, but now I'm ready to fist fight my fears. I realized why my ulcer hurts so much. It's because I have one on my cheek and one somewhere else in my mouth. It hurts to eat things, but I can also tell they're both healing and getting better. Just gotta get through one more annoying day and then I should be good. Okay. The timer's officially started. Let's get some money in the bank before surgery. I eat a piece of pasta and it really hurts so much. I can pinpoint the other source of pain now. The other ulcer is under my tongue on the side of my mouth. Yep, 2 ulcers. That's why eating sucks so bad. I'm discouraged to eat because of the pain, which isn't great because I do need to keep my strength up. Worst case, it'll clear up in a day or 2. I lay down in bed and realize I'm emanating a lot of feeling in my balls and dick, touching them confirming how sensitive they are. I jerk off to completion, but I can tell it's not an orgasm. Still got some healing and getting used to my new equipment to do. Afterwards, I close my eyes and try to rest. My junk feels like it's glowing. What a wonderful feeling. After trying to rest for half an hour, I'm still marveling at how sore my junk is. Now in a less than favorable way, but still a very much appreciated way. It's so interesting going from being numb in an area to being hyper aware of it. The sores in my mouth preventing me from eating or drinking are causing me some anxiety, combined with anxiety that the fistula hasn't closed yet, and some general trauma stuff bubbling to the surface. I want to lay down longer, but I'm getting restless leg syndrome. I get up and take an anxiety pill. I have tried very hard, but I can't remember what time I woke up. So I don't know what my schedule's going to be. The smoothies from Revive have been a great success. But every time someone asks me how I'm doing, I want to say I've been really into smoothies lately. And I want to punch myself in the face. Who are you? I've been mixing a scoop of chocolate protein powder in each time, and it's been very rad. Gives me my daily dose and improves the taste. I check the front door to see if my bromelain has arrived yet, and upon retrieving the package, I can tell it's my sex stuff because the labeling is so vague. Who's it from? Oh, who can tell? What is anything from? The pill knocked me out, like I suddenly get very tired. I did PT twice. I get up and pee and there's a bunch of blood when I dab all of the fistula area. Balls and dick are still sensitive and sore. Day 45. I wake up to pee and realize that the swelling on my right side from the incision has gone down so much. I hadn't even noticed it. There's basically no blood when I dab on the incision, just the general annoyance of pee leaking from my dick a minute or 2 after I've peed, which I know would be happening with my fistula probably as well if I hadn't sat for so long afterwards. My dick and balls are so sensitive. I thought it'd go away by now. I'm so stoked about it that I don't even mind any discomfort it causes. I try to have some oats, my first real meal of the day, but it hurts my mouth too much, and I have to power through it. I try to figure out which vitamins I should take since I didn't finish the ones from yesterday because I fell asleep, and I decide to start over with the next day's amount, since that makes the most sense.
I open my sex stuff with the understanding that a lot might not work for me right now. You know, being in stage 1 might be better for stage 2 when I'm hard. I clean the strap on with the hollow dildo that my dick is supposed to go into. I get what that review meant by the material not being hard enough. It might be a concern if I want to stick it in anyone. I don't even have time to consider fixes because my dick doesn't fit inside. If I was harder, I can more confidently put lube on and get it in there, but I'm still healing and I don't want to risk hurting it. I unpacked the swirly gel one. I love the packaging, it's very cute. Again, I won't fit with how soft I am, but I manually pull it open and pull it over my dick, getting the tip and some length in it. But without me being hard, it just kind of hangs onto me like a little hat. I pull it back and take it off. Not for now. I unpack the translucent gel vibrator attachment, and oh boy, I can tell this thing ain't gonna fit from what I've experienced from the last ones. Yep, not doing it. Save it for another day. Finally, we've got the gel mini vibrator cock ring. I pull it on, put it on my dick, not bothering to pull it up to the base. I can tell this might start cutting off my circulation. Yep, it does. The vibration doesn't do much of anything for me there. I take it off and try to push the vibration against different parts of my dick, hoping to feel something more. I put it on my ball sack, which does a little more. Worst case, it can provide me with a little vibration, so I try to jerk off. I eventually stopped using the vibrator ring and just touched my balls on my own. I've never been one for toys. It makes sense I still wouldn't find them useful. I do another jerk off to completion, but not complete completion. I'm eager for the fistula to close as soon as possible, but luckily, because this is all happening in quarantine, I'm not as anxious about time passing. I think if this was done outside of quarantine, waiting these next 7.5 months until August would be torture, especially with my fistula acting the way it is. Attending conventions or parties would be uncomfortable, especially if I wanted to have sex with someone. I fear I would slip back into my toxic masculine mindset and feel emasculated that I couldn't top my partner if they had any junk. I'd have no problem bottoming for a guy, I realize. And that's something to work on and process. That I would feel emasculated with a girl, but not by a guy. It's almost like I still have sexist tendencies that I need to tackle. Jesse? No blood dabbing the fistula after I've masturbated. Guess it was just a one-time thing. I must not have been being careful, or I must not have been being... What's the graphic? What's the grammar? I just want you to know, current Jesse's recording this at 1 a.m. while my eyes have been through hell because we're putting drops in them and shit, and nothing seems to be working. So I apologize that I'm taking my dang time reading. Where the fuck was I? I must not have been being careful. Is that correct grammar? I must not have been being careful. I must not have been careful. I wasn't being careful. Any of those options would have worked, Jesse, but not I must have been being careful. Or maybe just was going to get injured anyway. Why can't I read? Let's take it from the top. We got this, Jesse. We fucking got this. I must not have been being careful. It hurts so bad to say that. It doesn't make sense. Or maybe it just was going to get injured anyway, and there's nothing I could have done to prevent it. I wish I just knew if I did anything to make the fistula open more. I have no proof that me jerking off did anything, and I don't even know if that's how fistulas work. But I guess you just get to hear what my thoughts are, because that's what these logs are. Logs turned into vlogs, audio logs. They're logs turned into audio logs, sometimes containing vlogs. This is me in the moment. I don't know the answer, so you don't know the answer. My job is to report what I'm thinking and feeling in the moment as a patient and a not expert. This could be relatable if you're going through it. You might be worried that you did something when something starts bleeding or hurts more or whatever. So worst case, I hope this shows you that others have thoughts that are like, I don't know what's happening. Guess I'll just keep trucking. Perspective. You just got to keep perspective. Watching a Twitch stream, I decide to try some cooking, and I'm brought back to memories of watching streams on my tablet while I recovered from stage 0 surgery, and I hadn't gotten any of my stuff from the moving truck. I was assembling IKEA furniture alone. I was sitting in this house, and now I have a penis, and my last surgery is scheduled for August, and I am so blessed and happy. And I am still alone. I got store-brand ibuprofen liquid gels instead of Advil. Cheaper. I do like the Arthritis Easy open top that the Advil came in, though. So I compare the bottles just to make sure I'm not messing with anything. Both of them are 200 milligrams, 160 pills. I open the new store-brand ibuprofen and pour it into the nice, easy-to-open Advil bottle. I'll know, and I get to keep a nice bottle. I smell so bad. I haven't showered in 24 hours because the pill keeps making me sleep prematurely, but I can't shower until I get back from getting a few groceries. I don't want my nuts to not be fully dry before going out in the cold. The hairdryer I use on it doesn't get it completely dry. I need to let it air dry some. So while I'm waiting around, I send an email to the Crane Center with all the questions that I've been building up. I'm realizing now's the time because one of them is about my fistula, and if I should be doing anything else to take care of it, might as well ask everything else I've been meaning to. A few synchronicities happen that are so specific and cool. There's been a bunch lately that I'll sound nuts if I talk about, so don't even worry about it. Nothing's happening. Everything's fine. But there's someone out there looking out for me, and I very much appreciate it, if I believed in that shit. On my way home, I get a call from the Crane Center from the first nurse I met there. She thanks me for typing out the questions and said she thought it would be easier to call me with the answers. So let's see. Yeah, these are, I remember writing these because she called me while I was walking home and I had my earbuds in. Okay, so let's see. My email question. Yeah, okay. I'll say email question and then what her answer was. I emailed last Saturday. The fistula started leaking urine for a minute or two after I went to the bathroom, and now seems to be leaking urine throughout the day. I'm assuming it's at least partly urine because it's yellow, but I could be wrong. Not sure if it's opened up more or something. A new smell has also emerged, which I assume is the fluid settling into the ABD pad. The amount has been decreasing a little as time has gone on, but I'm wondering if there's anything else I should be doing besides wearing the ABD pads. Are there any antibiotics or pills I should be taking? I'm already taking a bunch of vitamins every day. And then she said, unfortunately, just need to let it close. She asked for me to send her a picture just to make sure it's all good. Which is totally fine with me though. I'd love to not have another surgery, so I'm cool with that. I'm gonna keep it dry, put ABD pads, and shower every day. Next question. Dr. Santucci said I could start slowly getting back into working out at 6 weeks, but can I run? Will it injure my junk? And she says, you can run, totally fine. If it hurts, don't do it, but you should be good. Start slow. Muscles have atrophied, while you've been resting and shit, which means they won't be as strong. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, this is the thing that got me to understand the 6 week thing. So, notice my wording. Because the next question is, I asked, Sid 6 weeks is also when I can start experimenting with sexual things. I just want to double check if my phallus can go inside another person's mouth. Is that okay? Or do I need to wait for stage 2? And it's fun because, I wrote these questions out expecting her to email me back, but she was physically speaking to me, and that was fine. I just didn't want it to be awkward. I didn't want to be like, hey, can I get a blowjob? Hey, can I... And I have to ask this after stage 2, and it's going to be a little awkward, but I have to be like, hey, how do STDs work? Hey, can I fuck a dude in the ass without a condom if both of us are fluid bonded and neither of us have STDs or STIs? I just want to know if poop gonna go in my penis hole. I'm gonna have to ask these questions, but for now, I asked if I can get a blowjob, and she said I can start experimenting, and says don't worry, it's not embarrassing. It can go in mouths,
But with my fistula happening at the same time, there's bacteria that could get in. So she said I should wait until the fistula is sealed up before I try receiving oral. The next question, when can I swim? She said 8 weeks. Next question, when can I put Sikacare sheets and oils or lotion on my donor arm? I assume when all the scabs and stitches have fallen off, but I wanted to double check. She said, for Sikacare, wait until all the scabs and stitches are gone. I can start putting oils on my arm, she thinks. She asks to see a picture just to see and make sure. I say, yeah, they're almost all gone. Next question. I assume that I should wait until after stage 2 to get my phallus tattooed. Is that the right move? She says, yes, the shape of the penis is going to change once I get my head and all that. And it's good. That's great. It gives me more time for the pandemic to clear before I get my donkaroo tattooed. Donkaroo tattooed. Veins on my dick and balls. It doesn't rhyme. Blue. Balls blue. Next question. Can I wear regular boxer briefs now, or do I need to keep wearing the Seprotec to support the phallus? And she said I can wear whatever's comfy. I said, my mom's going to be flying in to take care of me again for stage 2 and was wondering how long I'll be in the hospital and how many post-op appointments I'll be attending afterwards, just so she knows how long she needs to stay in town for. And she said, I'm going to stay 1 to 2 weeks in Austin. We have the operation. I go right home. I don't stay in the hospital afterwards. I have one pre-op. I'm sorry. What is it? Post-op. I wrote pre-op, I mean post-op. I have one post-op appointment, and like a week later, and if they need me for another, I'll stay for 2. The skin graft for glandsplasty is much smaller and less invasive, and it won't be like the skin graft. Okay, so past Jesse, or me being present Jesse, I spoiled it for you a little early. I didn't know it was in this log that we find that out, but there we go. And then I say, oh, so it won't be like my leg and be like bright red and then fade? And she said, no. They take it from above the leg graft, but Santucci said that there were a few options, so we'll wait and see. And those were my questions. And it was very nice of her to call me back. I really appreciated that. And being on the phone, also I appreciated that. I didn't want to be embarrassing, but I'm glad that nothing was embarrassing. It was great. So I get home and I send the pictures to her that she had asked for. I get some food in me, very painful, powering through it, and pull down my underwear to see hardly anything at all in the ABD pad. One tiny mark, and that's it. Very shocking. It hits me that I actually could work out today. As long as I'm careful, I can do a little. I think of how I prepared lunch for myself. How can I claim that the PT isn't doing anything when my hand is waking up less and less stiff every day? When I'm using my hand and arm as if nothing were wrong when I cook things? When I go to Target? When I push the cart? I'm cleared to wear whatever underwear I want. Oh boy, the guilt of not showering the last 24 hours is getting to me. I get an email back. She confirms my arm needs more healing before silicone strips, but I can put oil on it. The fistula doesn't look too concerning. It may leak for some time, but just keep it clean and dry. Use some dry gauze to help absorb the leaking. If it doesn't close by next surgery, they can repair it at that time. She also says she wanted to clarify something we spoke about on the phone. She said I could work out in 6 weeks, and she wanted to make sure I understood at 6 weeks from now. Most patients wait to start really getting aggressive with exercise until 12 weeks. Swimming, same thing. Don't submerge in any water, baths, pools, or hot tubs until you're at 12 weeks past the actual surgery date. You don't want to get an infection. I thanked her for the info and said she was right. I thought it was 6 weeks from the surgery date, not 12 weeks from it. So, no workout after all. Really amazing that I'm so chill about it. I thought I could work out, and I was excited about it, and now I can't, and I'm still excited not to. I'm so secure in myself, much different than after stage 1. Truly in, wait, what did I mean by that? Much different than after, I see. So I'm saying that
Post stage 1, I'm feeling really confident and secure in ways that I did not before stage 1. I'm truly in a state of understanding and peace and security. I take off my underwear to shower. No new additions to ABD pad, just the small mark there from before. I'm realizing how much of a disconnect there is in my brain because of trauma. It's so hard for me to accept good things outside of myself. And what I mean by that is seeing the reality of how the world sees me. I'm happy and comfortable with myself, so why is it so hard for me to accept that people like me? And not only that, basically everyone loves me. I'm a pretty universally loved guy, according to my friends. I can count the people I know who don't like me on one hand, and with all of them, it's because they're really bad people, and I stood up to them. So they've made it their mission in life to throw dirt on my name. I'm not a mean person. I don't go out of my way to like be mean to people, you know. There are endless good people who really like you and want you to succeed and are genuinely invested in your life for no other purpose than that you're a good human being and they want you to succeed. I love myself. I think I'm so hot. So why is it tough to believe that others find me attractive as well? I'll think, oh, someone finds me attractive? I don't know about that. And then ignore the multiple women in my DMs begging to take my virginity, which is a current thing that is happening right now in these journal logs. I order sour candy on the internet because this is the future. I will eat them when I don't have 2 ulcers. There are 2 tiny marks on the puppy pad. I put on regular boxer briefs since I'm allowed to now. Very exciting. Purple ones by Pair of Thieves. I'm glad they fit my junk now. We'll see if they still do once I get stage 2. Leg graft is a little itchy, so I do another coat of lotion. I use Tamanu oil on my arm for the first time. Oh boy. Present Jesse is like, you're allergic, baby. You are allergic. Well. I mix it with a little rosehip oil, as had been suggested by Finn when he wrote his book. And just as a disclaimer, I don't blame Finn even one bit. He was just saying what worked for him. And me, I discovered a new allergy. So, if you're going to use oils on you, do a little test run. When I do when I got my hair dyed and stuff, there was like a little thing in there that said that you should do a little test run of the hair first, just a little small piece on your head, just to make sure you're not allergic to it. And that's smart for anything. Oils, relationships, anything in the same category as that. Just do a little test run, and just to make sure you don't fuck up your body. Let's see. Finn was saying that some people don't like the smell of the Tamanu oil, so they mix it with the rosehip oil. But he actually likes it and doesn't mind it at all. I got the rosehip oil just to be safe. I opened the bottle, smelled the Tamanu oil. It's not bad at all. I didn't need the rosehip oil. It's okay though. I'm glad I had it just in case. It's supposed to massage it for 15 minutes, and I did as long as I thought necessary. Still in the beginning stages, some small part is rough. I wasn't sure if I should touch it a lot, but the oil will help maybe soften it up over time. I used one little dropper at a time, making sure to use enough to sufficiently lube it up but not waste any. You're supposed to be gentle, so I was. When I was done, my arm was covered in it. Oh, baby. Blotted it dry with toilet paper, and it was green when it came off of it because it absorbed the oil. I don't want to get oil on everything at my computer. I made sure to dry the landing strip where there wasn't any skin graft, the little space in between. I guess I used too much, but I'll learn as I go. Something I don't think I've mentioned, when I've been out of the house, there have been 2 instances of me coming back and having scabs knocked off my donor arm. Just little ones, but both times there's been a little bit of blood under it. In the process of drying and healing, like it wasn't ready to be removed yet. Just something to keep in mind if you're going to have your arm covered with a long sleeve shirt or coat and pushing carts and all that, you won't be able to see what's going on underneath it and might even forget your arm is injured at all, like me and just start doing things as if it isn't. Touching my dick, I feel like I can feel more in it than before. I decided to stand up to pee because my dick isn't following the rules that I arbitrarily put in place thinking it would follow, which would be that it would leak in the toilet so that I don't have to deal with it when I stand up. I stand to pee and the fistula doesn't appear to leak at all. I dab it and it's still wet, but holy shit, it's a good thing I checked. I did think that it looked a lot better in the picture I sent today, but then I was also thinking, of course you look better when I need to take a picture and show you to someone. You're on your best behavior. I'm not complaining at all now, though. Wow. The ABD pad shows a little bit of blood behind my ball sack. I wonder if it's the fistula or my sack. I've stayed up until 9 p.m. and officially unfucked my sleep schedule. We'll see how long it lasts. I did PT twice. I have no defense. We can do better. Day 46. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. Okay, I kind of like this as my sleep schedule, at least for the time being. I stand to pee, and again, no dripping from the fistula. I get the feeling that it's closed so much by now, the drips are just building up and will really start to show themselves when I'm 95% through the pee process. I'm correct. It's annoying that I have to dab it, but it seems to keep going about a minute or two after I've done peeing, but I'm so stoked that it clearly made a lot of progress. There's a tiny amount of blood on the tissue when I dab it. Okay, this is great. Really good seeing tangible progress. While I was laying down, I felt a lot of connection to my penis. I kept flexing it. I changed underwear because I got a sweaty butt from sleeping. I'm still not used to my ass being hairy because I don't see it every day. So I don't transition is a process of not seeing all of the progress and all the changes your body's going through because you're staring at it every day, but the butt especially because like you're just not seeing it. And then I'll take a look in the mirror and be like, whoa, yeah, I got a hairy butt. That's dope. I'm getting a delayed wave of excitement from rubbing Tamanu oil on my arm. Hell yeah. It's funny though, I have to keep saying don't show me this on different underwear advertisements on my computer and phone because I don't want to be jealous that I can't wear them because of my donger. My algorithm is used to showing me them and just being like, and like I'm just like, oh, those are cute, I'll get them. And then I'm like, excuse me, how big is your pouch size? Because I don't think my magnum dong can fit in them. So don't show them to me, you fucking cock tease. You literal cock tease. My dick isn't even that huge. I just can't fit in regular underwear. I noticed that my right arm is still covered in my souvenir from the emergency room, a yellow-green bruise made from the first IV. After I've been sitting for a sec, I realize my dick is bent a little at the tip, so I fix it. Maybe I shouldn't order Sepratech until I know how big my dick is gonna end up being. My arm hurts a teensy bit. I take a Tylenol. I walk to the grocery store to get smoothie supplies since my next shipment won't be for a week. It's actually the first warm day in a bit, so I don't wear a jacket, just a sleeveless shirt and a long sleeve plaid one. As I walk, sleeves rolled up, I completely forget my skin graft is even there. I don't feel it at all, just the wind on both my arms. It's so fucking nice. On the way back, I've got 15 seconds to cross the crosswalk, and I think I can make it, but I need a hustle. I run out of time when I'm in the middle of the road, and I try to do the polite little jog to show cars I'm making an effort, and I'm sorry, but I forget I haven't run in a bit, and holy shit, it's only for a few seconds, but my taint fucking hurts. It hurts the rest of the walk back, and I'm paranoid that I've, like, ripped it again or some shit. I worry until I get home, and when I check it, the ABD pad has blood on it. Fuck. I dab at the fistula with a tissue, and it's completely dry. No blood at all comes off. Huh. I guess it happened before that? I go to stretch my leg, holding it with my left hand. Doesn't hurt at all. I remember when it was painful and I needed to adjust my posture or use a chair to make it work. I shower. My taint hurts. I take an extra ibuprofen. I air dry and sit on my puppy pad in my computer chair. Oof, hurts. An hour and a half until my actual dosage of ibuprofen. When I get up, there's nothing on the puppy pad. I hold off on my daily Tamanu oil rub because a little bit of scab came off in the shower, and the skin is a little red and healing. I don't want to agitate it. We'll give it some time. Still hurts to eat, but not as much as yesterday. There's a little bit of blood on the ABD pad. My tan hurts. Oof. I stand to pee, and the fistula doesn't drip at all. I dab a bit with toilet paper, and there's barely anything to dry. It actually takes a minute or so of me standing there to pick up the pace, interesting enough. I want to be safe, so I take an additional ibuprofen, which makes 3 total, and an anxiety pill. I walked at my regular pace today. Might have been too rough. Should have taken it slower. I'm thankful my body's healing so well. I just gotta put some extra feel-good pills in my body to ride it out. I'm feeling tired an hour later. I finished my food. I can't focus on writing. It's time to pass out. I did 3 rounds of PT. I felt strong and like we made progress for all 3. Day 47. I wake up at 3 a.m. and go to pee. Nothing visibly drips from the fistula, but I keep getting the feeling that I'm getting wet places even if I don't notice. Eventually, a big drop of blood drops into the toilet, and I see that it didn't come from my dick. I kept peeing. Another drop of blood. I dab at the fistula with toilet paper to soak it up, and that confirms where it's from. It's bright red. I go to put the ABD pad back in my pants and pull up my underwear, and I realize that my feet and underwear are a little bit wet. So the fistula must be leaking so slowly that now it just kind of travels down my leg or drips behind me where I can't see it, so it ends up on the floor or in my boxers. I'm up for a bit, but after taking vitamins, I feel super sick. I go lay down. I wake up, go to pee, fistula drips a bunch. Fuck. Probably just a fluke, but it does lower my spirit. I thought maybe I was imagining it, but since putting Tamanu oil on my arm, it looks much better. It feels like it's smoother. It looks smoother. Most moisture it's gotten since surgery, so that makes sense. 96% of scabs and stitches are gone. That's so exciting. I saw a video of a trans dude post-fallow using a sex toy on his dick. He doesn't have the rod or the pump yet. So I think I'm doing something wrong. And then I remember he chose to get a smaller dick. He's an active guy. He's a bodybuilder and didn't want it getting in the way. You know, if you run a lot and stuff, that makes sense. My dick is longer, so it wouldn't fit, or rather it's bigger, so it wouldn't fit in toys that fit him. Before I shower, I check the ABD pad and there's barely anything on it. One small spot behind my balls. That's a great... One small spot behind my balls. This is uncharted territory. I have no motivation to eat. It hurts too much. I gotta just power through it. A little bit of blood on the puppy pad. I've officially taken out the belly button scar from my after shower CBD salve routine. The scar's just totally gone. There's nothing for me to improve about it. I can't see it, so I can't even find where to treat it. Because I tried looking for it today. Literally nothing there. Hell yeah. I apply Tamanu oil and rub it in for what I think is 10 minutes. It's still rough and new, so I'm easing into it. I run into a few stitches that are 95% loose and need a tiny bit of help to stop them from hanging on. I take tiny scissors and cut them loose. Physically transitioning makes you very skilled at doing little procedures on yourself. I used to be terrified of needles. Shooting one into your stomach once a week gets you over that real fast, especially when you're like, yes, please, oh God, give me that sweet tea. Sweet tea. Day 48. There were over 200 positive cases of COVID as a result of MagFest, and that's just the people who self-reported. People who live in Maryland were begging people not to come for the con. They're still in a state of emergency. Just a little, flavor to where we are right now in the world. Sometimes I see YouTube videos and stuff, and I don't realize a major life event or a major world event is happening at the same time. And I think it's cool to give you a tiny bit of an insight as to what is happening right now as I'm going through this, because it does affect the story a little. It shows you my mindset. It shows you it just adds some flavor. Flavor blast you like some fucking Doritos. Anyway, I go to sleep after doing PT twice. I wake up feeling horny, so I masturbate. I have another one of those pseudo orgasms while I'm almost at the peak of the mountain. I don't mind. It feels satisfying. I would love to have a orgasm, but these are fine. I've been starved for this kind of thing anyway, so yeah, I'll get what I can get. Plus I had to deal with this for years and years before my orgasms got legit, before I went on T. I know they'll get better with time and once I learn how to use my equipment better. I go to pee and see that a long section of my scab is hanging on by a literal thread. I don't want the part that's still attached to my skin to be damaged or ripped off as a result, so I cut it loose. Now there's only 2 parts of my skin covered in scabs. That small little piece and one perfectly circular bump, which I assume is from one of those things that they popped. That one seems pretty attached, so I assume it'll be the last one to go. I pee and a lot of pre-cum leaks from my dick afterwards. My strategy of balling up toilet paper and putting it on the fistula ahead of time and soaking it up as it goes has been a great help. It still leaks for a bit afterwards, but I'm getting ahead of it. I have 3 more small ABD pads and I have to use one now, but that should last me until the new shipment comes tomorrow. The skin where the scab fell off seems to not be fully stitched up, but it's not so bad. There's a little bit of fresh red showing, but it's not actively bleeding or dripping. I put some bacitracin on it. My eyes hurt more and more the last few days since I started putting my drops in again. As a refresher, to remind you, I got LASIK last year, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. I don't regret it even slightly, and it was totally worth it. But I got dry eye as a result. It happens to some patients, and my life is very exciting. Sometimes my body and my mind and stuff, I like my life. Sometimes I just go through things for the story, I guess. So I have an interesting story. So of course this would happen to me. I've been putting drops in that my doctor recommended. They're special hydrating ones, but the price adds up when I have to be doing drops like 4 times a day. When I called him a bit ago, he said I need something called a punctal occlusion, which is a pretty simple procedure. I wanted to wait until after dick surgery before even considering it, but now I guess it's getting to the point where I need it. I look up the standard cost and it's under $1,000. Expensive, but better than I thought it'd be. I find a good one that should be a short lift from my house. I'll have to call them and get more price info. Present Jesse talking here. That's wild because my procedure, I eventually get the punctal plugs and they are somewhere around $200. I think they're between $200 and $300. So I'm glad it was not $1,000. I don't even have eye insurance and it was that much. All right, back to the story. I usually wait a few hours between taking pills, but since I've only been getting sick off the first batch of the day, which admittedly is the most amount of pills, I decided to hold off on one of the zinc and save it for another batch. A lot of the pills might be for other things, but they also have zinc in them, so maybe I'm just taking too much zinc at once. I realize my ABD pads are arriving today. Even better. It's been a few hours, I see. I realize my ABD pads are arriving today, not tomorrow. Great. It's been a few hours since I took my pills, and I didn't get sick. Hopefully I've solved the problem. Boston is postponing surgeries, and that feels weird. $2,200 a week. Hospitals are, this is a quote, hospitals are considering size and growth rate of tumors. So, if your tumor isn't that bad, we're going to have to cancel your surgery. That's nightmarish. Oh my God. That makes me a little nervous, but August is so far off. It'd be silly to get worried now. There's no point. I take my next batch of vitamins, which is a zinc, a bromelain, and an Opti recovery, and feel sick. I think it's the zinc. I feel sick. It's the zinc. These are 2 separate words. Zinc. Kitchen sink. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'll try taking just the individual zinc on its own tomorrow. After I lay down for a bit and feel better, I pee standing to see where we are fistula-wise. It doesn't drip at all, me dabbing it up afterwards. Everything hurts to eat. I'm so hungry. I feel my arm graft, and not only does it look a lot softer, it feels a lot softer. It's so pleasant and nice in comparison. I do PT twice and pass out from an anxiety pill I took earlier. Wow, that certainly was a lot of days that we got through, wasn't it? Well, there's plenty more where that came from. This is my longest episode of PinkBlue, I'm pretty sure. I'll see you in the next part of this episode. We split it into 4 parts just so you could get all the wonderful, drugged up Jesse recovery ramblings that you need. We're here to give you your fix. And speaking of the people who helped to give you your fix, I'd like to give just a great big wet sloppy shout out to my patrons. These get weirder the more they go on, I feel. I'm not on script, and that always is just a throw of the dart at the dartboard to see what's gonna come out of my mouth. I want to give a special shout out to my silver sponsors: Alex Buhner, Cyberlink420, Dan Millington, Dane McRae, Gatarine, Giselle Nara, Marie Byrne, Mike Fireburn, Mike Birdfire, Mike Burnfire, Mike Burns the Fire. That's what this person does. Neve Kinor, Pocket Jawa, Sam McDonald. All these people are my silver sponsors. Hell yeah, y'all. Thank you so much. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my gold sponsors, or should I say gold sponsor, Sam Bartram. It's you. You're here. You're here in the gold sponsor category, and I thank you so much for being here. You are the gold sponsor. Last but not least, certainly not least, oh good gracious, not least even in the slightest. In fact, the highest of the honors is the diamond sponsors: EPAM, Getty Skog, Tsukiyomi, and Bread Synth. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting my content. Thank you for supporting trans arts. Thank you for supporting my ass in this chair. It's very comfortable, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for helping to make these videos. They literally would not happen without you. I'm fully Patreon funded, which is I put the archives of these videos on YouTube, so that it's a public source for the public and whoever needs it. And it's thanks to viewers like you and supporters like you that these things can even happen. So you know what? Give yourselves a wet sloppy pat on the back for me. Why is it wet? Why is it wet? What do you mean Adobe Creative Cloud has to update? Leave me alone. I'm thanking my patrons. Thank y'all so much. I will see you in the next part.